Yeah, lizardmen have jazz.
And they have
The
LA.
cloying
Sorry, they have noir-based films.
Exactly,
as
it's
well.
perfect.
Don't question why that's the case in a tribal environment.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to Crabby
My
D&D.
sister walks into
This
the room.
is the Dawn Seekers. I am here with my players: Sudz,
Hello.
Harlan,
Hello.
Sam,
Hello.
Simon,
Hello.
Infernal,
What the fuck?
and Will.
Hi.
That is okay.
Yeah, no, he's mad because he's not at the bottom of the list.
Thought you could sneak one past him.
No,
Monsters.
I'm. Yeah, okay. We'll just leave it at that.
You
All right,
trying
all
to
good.
debate?
Thank you. No, of course not. Trying to get you into your rage. So yes, hello and welcome everybody. Regular Sunday D&D as per usual. Usual announcements. Thank you to Snow for the art that you've put through. There hasn't been as much recently due to MCM, so it's good to have her back. And commissions are going back through as per normal. Portraits are getting done. I have 4 left to do. Sasha's is next, followed by Queglod and or Ghaakt, depending on what happens. And then I've got Elsyan and... I apologise, I'm forgetting somebody's character. Who am I forgetting? No, I'm not.
No one?
No, just Elsyan. Just Elsyan might be the last one.
Because
I'm not sure.
Elsyan is so great, it feels like he's two characters.
He's so multifaceted.
Ah, yes, Farnsworth.
We need a Farnsworth style.
No, we're not going to have a Farnsworth tile, but what I am going to do is after all this, I'm going to ask to see if she'd be able to do some simple art. So more of a crude art style, something that can just kind of convey or show various events that have taken place in the campaign, which I will then be putting up on a slideshow once I've got everything through, just so everybody can get a better understanding of who the characters are, and I'll be giving them labels and such. So that's in the works. Thank you to Tabletop Audio for the service you provide and constantly updating it, including some of their most recent things, which include if I have a sound pad up, not on custom sound pads yet, but I believe that might be coming soon, I don't know, that they have added the ability to repeat certain sound effects, single-time things such as a raven's call, the sound of a door slamming, things like that. When those occur, I can put them on a repeat on every so many minutes or so many seconds so that I don't have to keep clicking the button. So yes, thanks to that. Go check them out. This is a free service. You can use it on your browser, your tablet, or whatever device you plan to use for your D&D settings. Any kind that you wish to do. Dungeon Player Studio, as always, allowing me to make maps like this. Oh man, so simple, yet the biggest map I've ever made. And then Incarnate for allowing me to make complex overall maps like this. So, without further ado, unless anybody else has any other announcements, no vegetables.
My tabletop is being a dick.
Squash.
Oh, squash, that's new. Yes, there are some internet issues going on at the moment. My internet company is being terrible as usual.
Yay,
Mine is also being terrible.
Yep, Infernal's internet's also being terrible. Harlan's has been less than okay over the past few days. And Discord is also not being great, so yay to that. So hopefully all goes well.
Everything is going wrong.
Whoa.
This is fine. So, without further...
This is fine is definitely the dog while everything's on fire
Yes,
around
it
him.
is. Alright, so, let's get on with this then. So, last session, our party of adventurers, Sasha, Queglod, Elsyan, Bhold, Malcom and Ghaakt, fought off the shadows that were assaulting the lizard folk through a difficult battle, but they managed to persuade the lizard folk to allow them to seek refuge in their camp. In exchange, they would provide provisions, such as food or wood, to them. Upon arriving at the camp, Bhold was challenged to an honour battle with the champion of the tribe itself, to allow them entry without having their weaponry taken from them. As time passed, they were allowed through, despite the loss on Behold's part, because it was a close battle, with one of the civilians almost falling prey to the defence magic of Lighthouse, striking out as it was taken away from Malcom in his exhausting slumber. Now, with Malcom tied up, due to him being a tiefling and the previous events that had transpired, And but being allowed to rest over the course of the next few days, each of the individual members of our party goes about their own business, getting to what they want to do before they decide to leave, upon receiving an offer for a sled if they should wish to brave the storm. Wanting to take this offer and move on rather than stay in this place and leave Malcom tied up for 20 days, the party gives up some of their gathered food in exchange for 2 giant lizards and a sled. And so, we're going to quickly run through what each person wanted to do. So starting with Sasha, you wanted to help medicate the local people if there was any injured or if there was anything that had occurred.
Yes.
Okay, so as you kind of go about looking around, you go up to the local people and you kind of look around a bit, and you're eventually guided towards the tent where Malcolm's being kept. The place where the main shaman is lying in wait. He is spending some time working on people, making sure that everybody's okay, making sure that nothing goes wrong. And while this is in place, you walk in, you introduce yourself, and you begin to offer your services in the assistance of healing the local people. You go about attending to the wounded first, spending some time setting up, making sure that they're bandaged properly, making sure that those with broken arms or other limbs are splinted properly, making sure that you're applying enough of the regular medication that you need to somebody using the healing kits they have provided to bring them back and to kind of help them recover faster. If you would like to roll me a general medicine check, I'll say with advantage because you've got the healer's kit and due to your more attuned.
I really would if my tabletop hadn't died on me. Please
Okay.
roll. Could you roll for me?
That
with
is...
the general medicine check, that would be with a plus. I want to say 5 or 6, I believe.
Okay, with a 5 or 6, that's a 13 or
plus
14, because that was a 5 and an 8. So, you spend some time working on them. You kind of begin to realize that the majority of the people here are hardy individuals. Being lizard folk, they don't get injured often. But they generally get on fairly well. They seem to be fairly resilient and they can withstand the cold climates of this. You eventually learn of the nearby location of a hot spring. And as you go there, and you can see that most of the injured and those who are suffering some illness of some kind seem to be bathing within the hot spring as it bubbles up, and there's kind of a small geyser, seemingly from some subterranean water system that you're unaware of.
Okay.
And the individuals seem to be waiting there and preparing, and then they get in the pool and they rest. Most individuals here seem to be getting on rather well, but you managed to free up some time for the Elder, allowing him to have a conversation with anybody who you wish to talk to. Did you wish to send the sending spell, or did you want to wait to talk to the others about that first?
I will wait to talk to the others about that first.
Okay, noted. So, as that's going on, Malcom and Elsyan. Malcom, as you're kind of resting, you're having to lie there, not being able to do all that much. Elsyan, you wanting to get a little bit more favour with Malcom, while also...
No, I'm looking after my friend, Chris, obviously.
Yeah.
Not trying to
Being
gain favour.
Elsyan, you spend some time with Malcom, making sure he's recovering well, making sure that he's not left alone with these lizard folk. Excuse me. You've seen racism on so many levels, and this seems very... let's just say, not necessarily vengeful, but they don't seem to get on well with those of a demonic background. And as a result, you kind of step in, you're aware of general racism, and you know that if it gets a little bit out of hand, Malcom could be injured or worse, and in such a case, you can't afford to let that happen.
The only people that need racism are the elves towards the dwarf. What?
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 Oh, delightful.
I thought it was.
Exactly.
Also, one thought, Wes.
Hmm?
While, because I presume that Malcolm's spending large portions of time either asleep or unconscious. While he's going through that, can I try and do my shard sense?
Sure.
Just to check where they might be.
Shard sense wise, you begin to focus and you kind of get a general gist that there is one. From what you can tell, because you haven't seen any new ones.
Everything should be in the same place as I thought it was before.
The only new one that you got was the one that you took off of the Necromancer.
Well, yeah.
So you don't actually know where any are. However,
Right. Yes.
due to you not knowing where any are, you get the general sense that the closest one is somewhere southward.
Southwood. Okay. Interesting. Very.
Generally to the south. You're not entirely sure where, but southward seems to be the closest one. Distance-wise, you're unsure, but hey, narrows it down a little bit. While you're also doing this, because of the slight advancement you got with it, I'd like you to roll me a D100.
Oh. Where's D100?
There you go.
Ah.
I put
Two
one.
D100. Oh, right, yeah. I got back for a second, I thought.
Okay, 40. You begin to think, and you manage to think about your mother, and with the previous kind of advance you managed to acquire from this, you get the understanding that with the war taking place, she's laying low still. She's aware that there's sufficient number of forces moving around, she's aware that some of her forces are within the war, and she is aware that you are out there somewhere hiding from her. She doesn't seem to be too concerned with you, she seems to be more concerned with the political attention at the moment. Putting you at ease.
Excellent. To deal with her crazy ass anytime soon.
Stop checking up on me, Mom.
Or she has something so planned that that is so perfectly planned that there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Oh my
Damn it, I
god,
was
stop
just
killing my
stressed again.
friends, Ma.
You sit there, you think about these things, you concentrate, and you begin to kind of focus on what you're doing. The elder at some points kind of asks you to move out of the way as he's moving things around and setting things up. Working on general bits of magic here and there. His main tent's getting a little bit crowded. He doesn't mind you being there so long as you don't try and free Malcom or do anything like that. And he's okay with you two having conversations. At some point you have a general conversation. Malcolm, still being tired, is a little bit drowsy, and with the exhaustion kind of setting in, isn't really able to offer much in the way of a conversation. But you discuss a few things. You discuss the offer that you guys were given with regard to the sled, and Malcolm gives his take on that. And
Get me out of these binds,
is
goddamn.
very much concerned with Arachne's and the giant lizard's health. However, Sasha seems to have a plan for that.
Okay. Sasha seems to have everything sorted, Malcolm. I should be worried if I were you.
Yeah.
You just rest, and unfortunately, getting out of these binds would just cause great issue, no matter how much I wish I could.
As the time goes on, you spend some time, Malcolm, you're more comforted by the fact that you know that one of your party members is sitting around making sure that these individuals don't try and spike you with anything or try any experimental medicine on you or anything like that. You don't know how crazy tribe life is. While that's all going on, Bhold, you're busy challenging the champion to a few additional fights. You beat each other up a few times, you try fist fights, you go with weaponry. At one point you do end up meeting his wife. Roll me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage. Yeah.
Oh.
Even with the ring, you can still get a sense of fear from her. Although you manage to kind of shrug it off. She's not aiming any of her frightening nature at you. With that, you kind of get the sense that the Ring of Iron Will, it has an extent to its power. Naturally frightening people, such as this wife, is someone who could probably bypass that. Magical frightness seems to be what it can stop.
I see.
So there is a
Also,
limit.
like, I typed to you in Discord. What else I wanted to try?
Yes. Kind of looking around, the champion, as you're kind of fighting it out, he does point you in the general direction of where you'll be able to get a shovel. The nature of the shovel, however, will be made of bone, which means it won't be able to be very good versus hard earth. So digging any hard earth during this cold season will be nearly impossible. But digging anything along the lines of just basic fallen snow or regular earth during summertime, it'll be fine. And they managed to get you one of those, and it's a basic bone shovel. It probably wouldn't survive being hit by a weapon by any means, and if it hit a rock, you'd probably chip a big chunk of it. But
Yeah.
all the same, it's useful. With you spending your time like that, you just begin to you practice your fighting. You kind of begin to build up a rapport for these people, and they begin to be a little bit more okay with you guys being around. They're not comfortable by any means, but they know that you're there, and they know you're not here to harm them in any way. Ghaakt, as you're spending some time around camp, you were looking and listening for any musical sensation for these people.
Mm-hmm. I want to feel their rhythm.
As you're kind of listening in to the people, and you kind of begin kind of like investigating to look around to see if there's any music, you don't find any. You're kind of you're going around seeing if anybody plays instruments and that kind of thing. People seem to play instruments, but due to the nature of this time of year, people aren't playing music or anything. It seems they have very special celestial or like lunar calendar festivals or events, but they don't seem to be wanting to be tied up to music all the time, and it seems to be something very special to them. You get the sense that they kind of treasure the music that they have, because they're obviously very limited in the talents that they have, being more of a scavenging and battle-ready tribe. There are very few who are accustomed to using instruments. General bardic individuals, though, who tell tales, poetries, ballads, that kind of thing, there are quite a few of them. And where the lizard folk don't necessarily drink alcohol in excess, they have small areas and tents where they have kind of very small, almost shot glass-like drinks, which you can take a small shot, and you're allowed to have so many before they send you on your way. The drink itself is nearly 100% alcohol.
Oh god.
You try a bit here and there, it is strong. And the stuff that
would kill a man. That would kill a man.
They're lizard folk, and he's a half-orc. So, Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
So these guys can just drink ethanol, can
Oh,
they?
that's a 9.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is,
strong. It causes a lot of, like, delusional sense to you, and you kind of...
12.
Yeah, you get a lot of delusional kind of sense to you. You begin to almost be very dizzy, vomit, almost feel like you're going to vomit at several stages. The lizard folk also seem to be experiencing the same thing, but they haven't got the diluted form of it, as obviously with winter they don't have stored up berries, wine, beer, or anything like that. Their agriculture at the moment is very much attuned to meat, what winter root vegetables they can get, and if they want alcohol, they have almost the pure spirit. Which obviously does cause a lot of tingling and does cause damage, but you manage to pull through, and over the next few days you recover. Your voice is a little bit squeaky at times, but at the end of it all, you do find that your voice is a little bit clearer, and you shouldn't have as much of an issue when you want to do a booming voice or a very quiet whisper when needed.
Alright. It's not a bug, it's a feature, I get it.
Yep.
Don't feel like partying outside of festival season, I understand.
Wait, Wait, are you saying this alcohol is so strong that it may have literally put hairs on your chest?
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I think it's more of a case of it made me lose my voice. Sounds like
It had one of those. It allowed you.
put hairs down my throat.
Yeah, let's just go with that. It put hairs down your throat. So you get a sense of that. You get a sense that the people here do like to celebrate. However, they don't celebrate for long periods of time, and it's very special to them. So you kind of don't want to encroach on that by approaching any music upon them. They do seem to welcome it, and maybe at separate times of the year, maybe usually in spring or summer when it's kind of the festivals of romance and the festivals of just generally when life comes back to the forest, when they can grow more hardy fruit and veg and what they need to survive. And they welcome it. If you wish to ever come back and perform, then those would be the times for it. And finally, Queglod. You go looking around for the individual who's enchanting the weaponry. You are eventually led to the head shaman and two of his side shamans. The side shamans themselves, they do what looks to be the general crafting. They put the bone together, and they've got a lot of craftsmen about that use bits of bone and hide to form what they need at any given moment. However, they mainly, the shamans themselves mainly focus on comprising them together, and they seem to use a special mix of different herbs and liquids to form some form of concoction which assists in the enchanting of some of the rudimentary elements of the bone and wood. Something which typically enchanting isn't the easiest to do on.
So it's a herbal concoction that can hold the enchantment.
Yes, and as you kind of begin to investigate, they kind of get a sense that, or you kind of show them and you demonstrate your ways of enchanting and extracting aspects and stuff. Their way of doing it is related to that, but they don't have the understanding of it. You get the understanding that the recipe that they're using, that you can now use if you wish to, it basically means that you'll be able to use bone, wood, and pig iron as if it were iron. So you'll be able to negate all negativities of using lower level or lower grade material.
Oh man, you can enchant a tree.
It has to be small enough to be able to be enchanted, but yes.
Okay.
That's fair.
You could enchant. You could
a stick.
He can enchant a tree. That is
Enchant a seed and then grow a tree.
Or that. True, enchanting the seed would have negative connotations in various ways, but enchanting a tree is possible. It just takes a lot of time.
Waiting for the tree to grow. That would take a long time.
Again, ways these things can happen. But you get an understanding of what they do. They mix various bits of dried herb, mostly spices. They take what looks to be the fur of wolves, taking shreddings of that, and they kind of grind it down to a thin powder, which they then mix with a small portion of their own blood. It's not specific to them, it's just general blood that they can use. They use the blood of animals, they use the blood of what they slay, things like that. And then they mix it with salt. Mixing it all together, the composition which is made from that, you're not entirely sure whether the fur is specific, whether it needs to be wolf fur or if it can be another type of fur, but the small portions that it's required in means that off of one wolf that could probably last you, if you were enchanting at least 2 things a day, could probably last you a year if you skinned the entire thing, because of the very small quantities required. The powder itself obviously requires quite a bit of blood to make, because that being one of the main components along with the salt would take a lot of the component, but it is a way of turning very weak material into a stronger material that is more stable for enchanting. So, and you kind of get an understanding of that. Extracting the aspects from them, there doesn't seem to be anything which links them all together. So you get in a sense that there might be either something in the way that it's comprised, or maybe there's something else to this, something which you aren't aware of.
Perhaps we can get back to civilization. I can look this up further.
You kind of take it. You begin to take note, and you kind of understand it a bit better. And just going into the basics, you learn the basic recipe of this, you learn the proportions, and you think, okay, I'll try something like this when we get back. As this all takes place, over the course of these 2 days, you go about doing your own businesses and conducting what needs to be done. Sasha, you proceed to...
I wanted to have a quick discussion with people before doing the thing.
Okay. As the course of this, of the first day, halfway through, when you're going about your business, the storm does hit. It is very windy outside and it is very cold, but you manage to wrap up warm, and you use the general shelter, kind of darting from house to house to keep warm. Arachne and Aurum are allowed inside, but they're only allowed on the entrance of the tent, and they are to stay put. Aurum currently... The lighthouse hasn't been damaged, but it's covered in slobber in one point where Aurum's been holding it. But, something to keep mind of, that you might want to clean it before you leave. So, go ahead, Sasha.
Everyone. I've thought of a way where how we can get important items through to us here in hopefully little to no time.
You having bright ideas again, Sasha?
Honestly, maybe.
Oh no.
I know, I'm just as scared as you are.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. Let's hear it.
You remember how Hurricane sent us that package with the documents in it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no reason he can't do that again. And I have a way to contact him with my sending magic.
Yeah. I see.
It's actually quite a good idea. It's
No.
wonder we didn't think of it
I'm
sooner.
not sure what to do with this.
Yes, I feel like quite the dumb bastard for not thinking of it earlier.
I should be insulting you, and I can't. This feels wrong.
Well,
I know, Elsyan. Deep breath.
I can't.
Right. I'm looking for a number of heat stones. Would seem a smart idea. How much money have we got?
That is a very good question.
Grand total of 0 GP.
Same here. Malcolm, bag of holding, anything?
Malcolm?
Malcolm, any money in the bag of holding?
Bag of holding got about 1,011 gold, or 13 gold. 1,013 gold.
How much was a
I've got
heat?
261 gold.
How much was a heat stone, Chris?
250 gold.
How many are we willing to get?
Here's how they work, just
exactly
so you
how
understand
yes,
how they work.
Mm-hmm.
For
Okay.
a heat stone, at the beginning of when you want to, you pump a spell slot into it. The spell slot can range from 1st through 9th. Depending on what level spell slot you pump into it, depends on what effect it has and how strong it is. At spell slot 1, it will help you remain warm in basic snowy and cold climate. A spell level of 2nd or higher will help you in your current climate, which is stormy cold and blizzard territory. Going into 3rd level, it will help you during things like the stormy territory of when it will give you advantage on saving throws should anything arise during this stormy territory. And it can be used to heat a 2x2 area, allowing up to 4 creatures to share the heat.
Question: How long does it hold its charge?
It holds its charge until dawn.
Oh, that's very good.
okay.
So you use it at the beginning of the day, it lasts all day, and then it breaks off when dawn hits. Which means that you can either rest early, and then you can get in early on it, and you can beat it to the punch and move a little bit as the sun's rising. Elsyan, as you have keen mind, you would be able to tell when this would reset. And for the... So basically it's just a 1 a day thing. It takes a spell slot at the beginning of the day and then works for the rest of it.
Question: if we initially pump in a lesser slot, if later on the day we needed a higher slot, could we pump one in, or do we have to wait until
You
it
can
goes
pump.
off
You can
again?
pump a higher level in. You just can't go lower.
Okay, cool.
Cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
So second will probably be the one we usually do, and then
Third would be the one you would need for, say, if you wish to heat multiple creatures within a small area.
in that case, we may need to do third consistently.
I can do third.
Okay. I'm also willing to spare spell slot if required. We
can
can
do so as
trade
well.
off on days.
Yeah. Thing is, I get my spell slots back.
Oh, that's right, you do. Queglod's gonna power it.
Long term,
Something.
I can potentially look into modifying.
Something to note about yours, Queglod.
Yeah.
Because yours are based on a short rest, yours are you have to specify what level you wish to use, and then it will use that many spell slots. So you, because you only have 2 spell slots, can only use up to 2nd level.
Ah,
Okay.
well, that sucks then.
I can do.
I mean,
Third level,
if you can
'cause I
do
got
it at 2nd level, and then we take a short rest, and then I don't know how it works. Okay.
So if
Someone work out something
Queglod
smart.
used hers at 2nd level, because she has 2 spell slots, and then took a short rest, it would work for the rest of the day as normal.
Whoa!
What in the hell is that?
God, this storm's getting crazy.
Is that my mic?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Someone
hold on.
went very fuzzy there for a while.
Is it okay now?
Like, it seems okay.
Yeah, so far now.
I think it was just because I bumped my table. So
Maybe.
Possibly. It doesn't
Okay.
sound like
Okay.
is my mic okay, or is it fuzzy?
It's
Fine.
fine. It's just
Fine
there
now.
was like it sounded like
Static.
like static and a
Yeah.
lot of wind.
Okay.
Anyway, let's go.
Sorry, just making sure it's secure.
Cool.
Yeah. Don't know what that was. Um.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask Matt to check my mic real quick on stream just to make sure everything's okay.
You're fine, mate.
It's sounding good at the moment.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. I'm just getting him to double check just because I don't want it to be an issue. So, so yeah, that would be how that works. Basically, Queglod could use 2 of her spell slots to make it work at 2nd level, and then it would last until dawn, and then she could take a short rest and power them. However, each time she does so, it would take half an hour to power each one, and being on the sled would not count as a short rest.
Okay.
So you'd have to stop, which is the issue.
Okay. Well then we'll do him. We'll do him.
So yeah.
I mean, we've got like three full spell classes.
I will also note that the majority of you, because you've all got warm clothing, you should be fine in the cold. The people who will suffer will be the giant lizards when it gets to nighttime, and Arachne during the day and the night, and anybody during the night who is exposed to the outside world, which, because of Lehman's tiny hut, shouldn't be any of you. So ideally,
We
you'd
should,
need 1 or 2.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 would be good. It would be.
Yeah,
quite a lot, it'd be 500, but I think-
I'd always push on the side of caution. So 2 is my bare minimum. I would be happy with more, honestly, but 2 is what I'd push forward as a plan.
I have some personal funds I can throw into getting.
You don't need to if you don't wanna.
I've
But-
got like 3,000 gold.
Sorry,
what was
that?
Yeah, 3,000 gold.
That's a lot.
We need to go shopping.
The party fund.
Just
It's
claim it
sort of
on
idle.
expenses
No,
at the bar.
it's his personal fund because he sold a artifact of his. So
Oh yeah, I remember.
I remember.
yeah,
That
that
is artifact?
and he put some of it into the bag of holding, so he's just got money for himself for when he needs it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, what are you guys going to try and exchange for the sled? Now they are taking the 300 berries, and their offer is the 300 berries and the pack of jerky for the sled and the 2 lizards, provided the lizards get sent back alive.
Question: Will after the blizzard is over, will they be able to get back on their own?
Oh
or do
yeah,
we
yeah.
have
The
to,
the lizards are trained that they'll be able to get back on their own. The only thing that they could potentially then die to is anything that might roam the snow.
Right. Then I'm gonna say that we promise to release them at the end of their once we're out of the storm. But if anything happens to them on the way back, that's on them, not on us.
They agree. They're generally okay with it, even if they are a little bit reluctant. But they do agree. Okay, this should be fine.
Right. Now, quick out of character question. How many of those abominable snowman furs, yeti furs, do you have, Infernal?
I have 8 pounds, I think. Malcom.
Good. We can all wrap up warm if need be. Okay. I'm just willing to just hand over the berries, but I am also happy to haggle if people want to haggle. It's just I'd rather just get this over and done with than.
The berries
how-
I'm have to hand over, I think.
How much of the jerky are they
All of
asking for?
All of it.
Right.
You
Can I
have
offer-
long life rations.
Yeah. I guess.
It's just up to you whether you wish to have the jerky or the long life rations. The long life rations weigh more, but the jerky is more valuable because it doesn't decay.
Mm-hmm. Can we try and subsidize it with the with some of the long life rations, so that we keep some of the jerky instead, because the jerky is good and won't decay on us, which is and also can help feed our many animals.
How much are you willing to exchange in the way of long life rations for jerky?
I don't know how many we have all in all. What is it in the bag of holding? Is it?
It's on Behold.
Okay, Behold. How much?
We have 5.
5 long life rations.
Yes.
Weight?
Okay.
What's the weight?
75 pounds.
Holy.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that's
yeah.
15 pounds of each lot. So that was enough for each person to last for, I think it was 2 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
Actually, thinking about it, we might prefer the long life rations just for the fact that they are, even if they're not like as long lasting, they'll certainly keep us.
Yeah, and something to note,
Maybe
because
better
I
have-
haven't been marking it down, you have been eating the jerky, so it should be
Okay.
there should be less of it in there.
Okay. Could I offer? I'm willing to give you a few more. I'm willing to give you more berries in exchange for giving you less of the meat.
Do you have more berries?
I do in fact have more berries. They asked for 300. Yes.
Oh, I meant all of them. So,
Oh, all
however
of
much
them.
is in there. Was it not 300 you have, or is it?
It was. Well, I used 10 last time, and you said I gathered 500
Okay,
altogether.
so yeah,
So
all
it's-
of the berries is what they want, and the jerky, because they need to feed all of their tribe. This is in exchange for one of their modes of transport, which they've only got a few of. So,
You know, I'm just
Yeah,
happy
if
to
we
hand it
leave the
over,
long life
honestly.
rations, I think that's fair. I don't want to haggle with them too much because they
How
have
about
a good
okay? How about
reason
this?
for needing this stuff.
We'll hand it over. But if they have any stuff that they can spell, like there was mention of furs at one point that may also be included. Can we bring that into the equation at all?
if you wish to trade more food, yeah.
Okay, well that sucks.
What?
Sticks.
I mean, as discussed before, we have yes.
Yeah. Okay, should we just give him the stuff and just go?
Yeah.
'Cause-
I would say so. Yeah.
okay.
In addition to this, as you're kind of accepting this, they hand you they've prepared the sled. They've put your things on it. You kind of armor yourself up. It's been the 2 days. The wind is howling outside. But they prepare for this, and the shaman kind of walks over and goes, "Well, I can't say that I'm going to. It's not good to see you go, but if you wish to brave the storm, then that's up to you. Something that I would like you to do, actually. If you're heading to the mountain, could you take this to the dwarves for me?" And he hands you a very thin, what looks to be, or very small scroll case. Kind of just a cylindrical shape made of some kind of wood that's been carved into this shape, and he just passes it to you.
What? Do you mind if I ask what it is precisely?
It's asking them if they need any assistance. They haven't spoken to us in several months, and it's very strange of them. Usually they commission things like, usually they'll help us, and they'll commission furs, and we'll trade it for food and weaponry and that kind of thing. But they haven't sent us anything or replied to any of our envoys.
Right. I will do so. And oh, sorry. Can I ask your name quickly, or a title to call you by precisely?
Elder Shaman.
Elder Shaman.
Elder
of the
Shaman.
Lizard Folk.
Elder
Right.
Shaman.
Would that mean that I am now familiar with him?
You're familiar enough. You could send him a sending.
Okay.
There is a chance that it might not reach him though, so I will just say that it's a 1 in 5 chance, or a 5% chance rather.
Oh, isn't that that's only if I'm like?
No,
across-
I know, but because of the nature of
Okay.
who he is and the fact that he's not telling you his real name, I'll say that it has that
Right.
5% chance.
It
It would stay the
well,
same if you're on
if you-
another plane, but
Okay. Well. Yes. Well, then I will try and send you back a message to tell you what's going on with them. When we hand them over this letter and find out.
thank you very much. Safe travels, friends.
And good luck in the coming winter. Well, I mean it's kind of already here, but you know what I mean. The breach and the
winter.
crown.
Yeah.
Can I? By the way, I've compiled my my thing. Can I have that be sent off?
Your message.
Yes.
Go ahead and you cast sending aimed at who?
Hurricane.
Okay.
The Tabaxi.
Yep.
Hurricane. We require items for cold climates. Can we purchase them through you? Potential list: heat stones 2.
Okay. That being the end of your message, and it being fairly early in the day, he is awake, and you do get a message back saying, "This is Hurricane. Message received. I can acquire the heat stones. I'll have to compile a document for the transaction. Okay, they can hear us again. Overlay is down. Internet was trash.
Let's reload and get back into that.
That is good.
Right. Well, the show must go on. I'll just have to download both and merge them together on the YouTube side. Do not worry, I am going to shame BT. I didn't want to before because, you know, it's not nice to shame them, but shame on BT because service sucks. They need to get their act together. So.
I think you need to make a new announcement at the start that BT sucks.
Yeah,
You
you know
just
what?
go
I might just
and
do that.
fuck BT.
I might just say things like, "Oh, the issue is ongoing. BT suck," and just every time until they solve my issue.
I mean, it will do nothing, but it'll make you feel better.
Chris, whenever I watch an American streamer, they never have anything good to say about the one of two internet companies that own their one part of the states.
I know.
So it's either Time Warner or Comcast, and either way, you hate them.
Yeah, at least with dial-up, you knew why you disconnected. It's because someone picked up the phone. But nowadays, it's like, "Oh, you disconnected. Why? Oh, we don't know." Call up the help service, and they say, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" It just did.
So basically, you say we should go back to dial-up because now the phones have no way of interfering because everyone just uses
Mobile,
mobiles.
exactly. Perfect idea.
Dial-up is the way of
Why
the
is
future.
that the best, worst idea I've ever heard all day?
It's like how tape is still the best way to hold data.
Eh,
When I
Yeah.
say tapes, I mean like film. I guess it was tapes.
Clearly, you meant punch card.
No, clearly, what you meant are floppy disks.
I heard that.
That's your
Oh,
problem.
sorry, I meant to say 3D print save buttons.
I heard the next Nintendo console is going to work on. They're going back to the classics.
Oh,
On cassette
cartridges.
tapes.
Oh, they're going
Oh,
even
yes, boy.
more class.
You already went back to cartridges. The Switch uses them.
Does the Switch
Yeah,
use
the
that?
Switch uses
Any-
it.
That's 'cause it's
anyway.
a handheld,
You expect
though.
a CD to be in there?
Anyway, Infernal, are you here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Sudz, you here? Sudz?
Hello.
Oh.
Nope, he's gone.
He's
dead.
gone.
So, what were those two American companies that were?
Comcast and Time Warner.
Hey, Sudz.
Hello, Sudz.
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 I was
Oh,
here.
hello.
Discord went.
Yep. That happens.
Okay.
Okay. Everything's okay. We're back on the road. Okay, let's give this another shot. So many faulty things, and one of them is internet. So, where were we? You guys were...
Dying.
Okay.
Probably.
We were having my conversation with Hurricane was giving me his response, and we were about to leave.
Oh, did you hear his response, or...?
We got
Maybe.
like I'll need to write up a transaction.
I'll need to
note.
write up a transaction to get you the 2 heat stones. That will take 3 hours,
Okay,
is what he said.
right. And owing to the fact that we've been constantly moving, they'll just appear in front of us.
Yeah, the contract will appear. The contract will appear in front of you. Yes, so
Okay,
it should be
awesome.
fine. So, do you guys just get ready to go now,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
or are you going to
I'm
wait for
super
the 3
fine.
hours just because Arachne's not gonna be able to stand the cold if you move now?
Yeah, let's wait for the 3 hours.
3 hours go
Yeah,
by.
okay.
You mingle and you watch for a little while. You get a better layout of the camp itself. The camp is, for the most part, the camp is circular with the exception of the bottom, the southeastern corner, which is obviously a corner, not circular. And the main reason for that is because there's more of a that's where the hot spring is. However, while all that is happening, you're kind of looking around and stuff. You get a sense that quite a lot of the people here, as well armed as they are, you kind of see the 2 guard towers and you see the people armed. You see a large amount of firewood being set up into multiple campfires. With this being the first time of you being at the gate during the daytime, you can see a large portion of people are taking away what looks to be burnt logs or ash, and they seem to be piling it up, and then they're putting logs in new positions, seemingly setting up bonfires. The location of these bonfires seem to be at the gates and around the wall of the camp.
Oh, I think it's to ward off the
shadows.
Yeah.
You get a sense that that they've been fighting this battle for a little while, and that they have found ways and techniques to overcome them. The individuals there are a few more lizard folk who are more court-martial-esque and commander, giving commands to individuals to do certain things, organizing and making sure everything is okay. As the hours go by, you wait. Eventually, the contract arrives. The contract says something along has the general gist of for 400 GP, you sign here in reception of 2 heat stones.
Malcolm, you're the one with the money in the bag or on your own. So, would you like to be? Who does it require to sign it?
It requires the person who has the money.
Okay, in that case, Malcolm, go forth. Sorry, Malcolm. You're the one with most of the money. Go ahead.
Lord Malcolm.
I think you meant to say go forth, my lord.
Go forth, Your Majesty.
See, Sasha, that's it. Start respecting your betters. That's right.
You realize that as the last remaining member of a family, I'm technically a lord in your version
Yes,
of the event.
but you're also a dwarf, so it doesn't really count now, does it?
I don't know if that's actually true, Chris. I'm just saying it.
You know you're a dwarf.
You might just be a very short man. Don't know.
Yeah, you don't know the exact specifics of whether you're if you'd be a lord or not, but from what you know, that you, as far as you're aware, you are the last surviving heir. So technically, you are the owner of the Smashfist family, therefore making yourself a lord within the courts of the Dwarven Federation.
Congratulations, you are the family patriarch of a family of one.
Yeah, effectively.
Yeah.
And
It's
Sasha being a lord won't affect her. Just you're a dwarf. It doesn't matter to Sasha, to Elsyan, sorry.
Dwarf Lord.
Dwarf Lord Sasha.
Oh, actually, I quite like that. You will refer to me by my proper title, Dwarf Lord. No.
Dwarf Lord, Lord of the Dwarfs.
So, as you...
Are we just a party of royalty?
Malcolm, are you signing this document?
I don't know what document, but sure.
Have you been listening to the whole 400 gold for the 2 heat stones document?
I had to go look for an inhaler.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Were you signing the document?
Yeah, sure.
You sign the document. 400 GP is taken out of either your inventory or the bag of holding, your choice. Or 40 platinum. And you receive 2 heat stones. The heat stones are, think, bowls.
Mm-hmm.
They're about that size.
Okay, that's nice.
So, a good-sized orange. About that. Maybe a little bit, actually no, larger than that. But they're about that size.
A small pumpkin, perhaps?
Yeah, tiny pumpkin. They are cold currently. So
Right.
what level spell slot do you wish to pump into, one or both of them?
I'm still tied up.
No, you've been untied.
No, you've been untied. You're standing near the entrance and they're letting you go.
I've used my sending today. If the other spellcasters who have level 3 slots,
I will pop a 3rd level spell slot into, guess both of them.
Okay.
Sure.
So mark off 2 3rd level spell slots for today. Both of
Yep.
the heat rocks begin to glow, forming the warmth to them. Where would you like to place them, or what would you like to do with them?
I definitely want to give one to Arachne.
Okay. So you strap
That's
one.
a good idea.
So you strap one to Arachne, and what would you like to do with the other one?
can we strap the other one to the butt to like the harnesses of the giant lizards, whatever's going on there.
Yeah, so strapping it to the harness, the 2 giant lizards will receive heat from it, which will mean that they can move at a relatively good pace and a consistent pace.
It'll also get rid of some of the snow before we get to it. Maybe.
No. If it did, that would actually make your travel harder because you're not packing on packed snow. You'd be going
Okay,
over
then that's a
snow.
good thing. Let's
Yeah.
go before Chris
You need
changes
to freeze
anything.
the snow even more.
Yeah. So as you begin to travel through the storm now at this point. The storm it's just blowing past you, is extremely cold air, and you're all finding it relatively difficult. Who is driving this sled? And
Yeah,
who is doing the directions?
Yeah, what's our formation on this sled?
I feel like Queglod or Infernal should take the like the actual handling of the lizards to like drive, and Elsyan has the keen mind and, like, let's be honest here, the intelligence to guide us in the right place. As much as it pains me to admit it.
If you're looking for, if you're thinking of a navigator, someone like probably have a Bhold or Malcom from the best.
I can. Well, do we have anything on the sled that needs to be like help?
I'm back.
No, the stuff is tied down if you needed it.
Right. I guess we can do the lizards.
Okay. So roll a handle animal for me, please.
Who?
Behold, because he's the one who's driving, because nobody else spoke up.
Yep.
So, you manage to keep control of them. You
22.
You build a rapport with them, and you begin to kind of set off. You keep the reins in check, and you kind of keep. You make sure that they're traveling at a good pace, and they begin to travel out and on into the snow. As this is going on, Elsyan, I'd like you to roll me a survival check with advantage because of your keen mind.
Oh, don't have a roll for me. Give me a sec. I forgot to actually come back into the. I thought I did, but I didn't.
Okay, rolling for you. There's a 19 and a 2. So with the 19, you
A plus. Oh, +3.
a +3. Okay, so 22. 22 again. You set yourself up quite nicely. You travel. You kind of get your bearings of your directions. You know which way's north, despite the storm, and you know how long you've got till sundown, when it will get bitterly cold during that time. You kind of point them in the correct direction. Sitting order, which I will arrange here, has to be Bhold at the front, followed by Els, followed
Right.
by who, and who.
I just left up to change my Warhammer paint. Did I get labelled as the navigator?
Yeah.
Yes, because you got keen mind, which means you know which way is north, so you won't get lost as easily.
Sasha will go in the center because I'm if any I can at least do some fiery stuff, so for heat.
Okay, I'm gonna sit around Sasha then.
I think we should probably have the creatures somewhere in the middle so we can keep them warm.
The creatures, Arachne and Aurum have to travel separately. They're traveling on either side of the sled.
Oh god, is Aurum okay?
Aurum's fine.
Travel. Okay.
Yeah, Aurum's a crystal drake. She is effectively immune to any weather conditions, which won't freeze her crystal.
Okay.
Oh, Malcolm, it's either me or you. Would you like to?
I'm riding Arachne.
Oh, okay. Then I guess I'll just be on the back
Okay.
then.
As you're riding Arachne, I would like you to roll an athletics check for Arachne then, please.
Ghaakt is
God.
coming up the rear.
Oh.
Oh,
That's one thing I forgot to do.
Ghaakt. Oh my.
I gotta pull up her character sheet.
Ghaakt loves the rear.
Wow.
Okay. Over the course of the day, because you spent 3 hours, you are travelling at a relatively good pace through the snow. With all this going on. This will depend for Arachne. Arachne is managing to keep up, despite carrying Malcom.
Yeah, why are you making this life harder on your poor animal?
Due to the nature of her body, she is happily able to actually walk over the snow, going from tree to tree quite easily.
Okay.
Using it for general cover. So she's able to get over the snow quite easily, and you kind of slide over the top. The lizard's kind of keeping low to the ground. Aurum is charging through it, leaving a trail behind her. It's kind of like a shark almost. You see the top portion of Aura
And
as
then-
she's just charging through the snow.
Den.
We're definitely not gonna get tracked because of...
Don't worry, we're mid-blizzard, so any charge
Um,
through it is going to disappear in
In an hour or two.
Relevantly to tracking, actually,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I noticed that the lizard folk were setting fires around their camp, presumably to ward off those shadows. Perhaps it would be smart of us to attempt to do something likewise. I know we can't easily light a fire, but
Let me
you
try
light up a
something.
lighthouse, maybe?
Let me try something. My cantrip for dancing lights, should that be able to keep up with the sled?
You can keep it up with the sled, yeah. Because you'd either be
Alright.
recasting it or you would be consistently pulling it along with you.
Right. See, I guess I could do that. That'd be 4 torch-sized lights within range. A dim glow, but it's something.
It's a dim glow, so you'd be able to keep a general better view on the surroundings. Out of the remaining 4 people, who would like to do perception checks?
Me!
Go ahead and roll your perception.
Ah.
I take it I've just done that since it's a
Actually, no.
cantrip. Don't
Out of the 4 people, make perception checks. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Elsyan and Bhold, you cannot, because
Oh.
you're focused on navigating and driving.
So me as well.
Yeah, you as well.
Oh god.
Ow.
That's a...
Ooh, natural 20.
Oh,
Okay.
My
yeah,
lights
I
worked.
didn't need to do good.
You're
Yeah.
moving through the snow at a relatively good pace. The snow is hitting your faces, and quite a few of you are finding it difficult to kind of keep a lookout. With your dancing lights, you move them around to see if you can spot anything, and nothing seems to be nearby or tailing you. And you are confident of that. So that means that you guys are going to be able to travel through without needing to worry about being hit or tracked.
Okay.
So you guys travel for the better part of the next 2 days without any issue. Over the course of the night, you set up camp. You set up the large tent from your part. Sasha and somebody else, go ahead and roll survival checks for me, please.
Sure.
Because Sasha was the ingenious member who brought up the idea. So she gets a roll, and it tells true. So, with the help of Malcom, you two set up a tent nice and easily, telling the others what to do. The large tent houses the 2 giant lizards and Arachne as they rest up. As the night rolls around, you send your sending to Zuvan, who hasn't rolled the bar thing yet.
The what?
I don't believe I have.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the d20 then, Queglod.
Go, Queggles, go.
Go.
Oh,
Queggles, go.
okay.
Queggles, go. Queggles,
The
go, Queggles, go,
tavern,
go,
in
go.
its current state, does seem to be picking up a little bit more welcome with the local people. With the whole renovation that you are aware of in Adamanthia, it seems like the dwarves are visiting a little bit less. They aren't able to attend as much. However, in their stead, a few other individuals, mostly humans, have been attending to join the whole ordeal of your now open tavern and it growing a little bit. The
We're
dwarves-
becoming established.
Yeah, you're becoming established a little bit more. You get 2 more regulars who do arrive. Zuvan is aware of it. I'm sorry, Infernal, you're at 99 customers, not 100.
Oh.
Because guess who rolled a 2 on a d4? If I rolled a 3, it would have been 100, so I'm sorry. Okay, and you make a total
Well,
of
the
20.
next person to come in will be our 100th customer.
Yeah. Do you want to give them any special deals?
Yes.
A hearty pat on the back.
Now that's what we like to see.
That's
Oh,
a
I'm
song
a
for
customer.
you.
Now fuck off.
First round of meal free, maybe?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm
Yeah.
good with that. Like, because if that gets around, then maybe that more people will try and come to be the next big number.
Every 100th customer per day gets a free meal.
Okay. With this,
That's per day. It resets
with
whenever
this,
the
you
next day
make
appears.
27 GP. So your stored gold is currently at 808. And your tavern is looking okay. Food is making the majority of your profit. Drink is doing okay though. And yeah, you seem to be doing okay so far.
Nice.
With that and the setup during the night, you are any of you sleeping in armor? So, something to clarify, which I have modified the rules of the player's handbook for this because I would prefer this to be this kind of system. If you are sleeping in heavy or medium armor, you must make a Constitution saving throw. The DC will increase every consecutive night. Should you fail, you suffer a point of exhaustion, which does not get recovered that night. If you succeed, the DC goes up by a set amount for the next time you try to do it, unless you take a long rest without wearing armor. If you are wearing armor, you cannot recover points of exhaustion neither. So, with the exception of light armor. So, are any of you sleeping in your armor?
No.
Is that only for heavy armor? Or everything?
It's for heavy and medium.
I don't have heavy armor anyway.
I guess.
Oh,
Is it possible to try and wake up a little bit before the bubble goes down so that I can have time to put on my armor?
Yeah, studded leather's medium armor, isn't it?
Yep. No, it's light armor.
Studded
No,
leather's
it's
light.
the light
Yeah.
armor.
Okay, fine. Then yeah, I'm staying right.
Okay. So, Sasha, you're taking yours off.
Mm-hmm.
Behold and Malcolm, are you taking your breastplates off?
I am.
Sure.
You take your breastplates off and you proceed to rest. As the night goes on, it is completely eventless for all of you.
Okay.
You rest, nothing seems to occur, there don't seem to be any creatures out. You don't seem to see any shadows, any of you. Whether that's a good or a bad sign, you're not sure. But you don't see any in the nearby vicinity, they don't seem to have tracked you or anything. You seem to be okay for now. The animals rest up, they get their sleep quite happily. And Aurum gets her full sleep as well inside the bubble. She is snow logged on the underside of her armor, but she shakes that off. And she's quite happy with all that. Okay,
Good,
next
okay.
day goes by. Another handle animal check, this time with advantage because you succeeded last time. And another advantage roll on you. Wrong dice, Infernal, but okay. And another hatch. So
You cursed my die.
Why did you
need to
think
die.
giving me advantage was a good idea?
because you're using
this
Malcolm's
is on
dice.
you, mate. You picked the wrong dice.
Yeah.
Cursed my die.
So you try and control the giant lizards. However, because you're not lizard folk, they aren't particularly willing to work with you as well. Elsyan, you know the direction of where you're going. You know which way's north, and you're heading the correct direction. However, you are slower today. This is going to pull you back. You are going to be one day. It was going to take you an additional day to get there, and you'll be arriving at a different time also. Over the course of the day, perception checks from everybody who isn't busy doing their own things.
Bye.
Cursed my die. I need a new die.
No.
19.
If you get another one on that one, then yeah, but otherwise no. So,
Ghaakt continuing to be
Yeah,
the
Ghaakt
only competent member.
Eagle-eyed.
yeah, continuing to be vigilant. Ghaakt, you kind of look out. Over the course of the day, you for the first couple of sections, you don't really see all that much. There aren't any things about. They aren't. It's just the same old, same old. Nothing around and nothing to worry you. As time goes on, you begin to like keep an eye out, and you're just watching. There doesn't seem to be anything disturbing you over the course of this day. While this is going on, however, you do hear something far, far off in the distance. You're not entirely sure what it is, but
Which direction is it coming from?
make me a survival check. Or just ask Elsyan.
Elsyan, what direction is that noise coming from?
Chris, what direction is the noise coming from?
It is coming. It is coming from the west.
And we are heading north?
We're heading
Nope,
north.
we're heading east.
We're head-
East.
I
It's coming
think.
up from behind.
It's coming from the west. It's coming from behind. Watch out.
As you were
And you-
saying, Chris.
You heard it?
Hmm?
I guess you didn't hear it. Hold on. Let me let me turn this up.
What was that?
Sounds like someone's playing some steel drums.
That's what you hear. And as you hear that, you begin to kind of think about it for a second, and you realize that's a very loud roar. You're in a blizzard. For that sound to have reached you and coming from the west is not a good sign.
That was literally right behind us.
No, not right behind you. You're heading northward.
Wait, I thought we were heading eastward. Oh wait, it's the map.
No,
No.
the mountains to the north.
No. With regards to where you are, if you wanted a... Do I have it?
Yeah.
Do I have it
Because
currently?
if you look on the globe, you'll
No,
be able
I
to
don't.
see where west directly is.
So let me draw a general... I don't think I have it uploaded, but this is the general
northeast.
vicinity. So, here's the mountain. This is where the mountain is, the entrance is here. The camp, you were travelling along this road through the forest. However, because of the storm coming and it slowing you down, you decided to head this way. To where the lizardfolk camp is. And the lizardfolk camp is going north. Maybe northeast. So the sound came from west. You are currently about here, so it came from this direction.
Oh, thank God we avoided that.
We would have been past that by this.
Yeah,
We've
by that
probably
point, if
been-
you'd actually gone straight there, you would actually be here. You'd actually be
Maybe.
at the cave entrance if you'd gone through it. However, Arachne probably wouldn't have survived.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been really bad.
So,
Malcolm thinks it's bad. Elson thinks it's bad. It's bad.
exactly. So,
Like,
you hear that off in the distance. You aren't entirely sure what it is. You notify the party of it as they're kind of a little bit more cautious about this. However, over the course of the night, you do prepare yourself and you take up residence as you usually do, setting up the tent and setting up the bubble. Who's marking first watch?
I'm gonna be doing last, like.
I'll do first this time.
I'll take a middle watch if not if.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sasha, are you
I'll
wearing
take
your
first.
armor during your middle watch? It won't
Actually,
change
it's
your
probably a
long
good idea
rest.
for
It will just be are you going to put your armor on before
Yes,
you go
I
into
will put on my armor
Okay.
for this.
Okay, as you go into watch.
I'll probably grumble about it though, like. Armor.
Okay.
Armor,
Are you
tactical
putting your armor on
stuff,
for sleeping, or
machine
it's just for the watch?
Just for the watch, I like.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and time it so that I wake up before the bubble pops.
So
But,
you
like,
can
other
take it
than
off
that-
early, then get some rest, and then wake up, put it on, and then you'll be able to easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Without getting caught or unaware.
So, Elsyan, you begin this. Queglod, Felipe does get his watch, however, it is with disadvantage because he has to remain within the bubble, because otherwise he freezes.
Yeah, that's fair.
And unless you want Raven Popsicle, yeah.
No, that's fine.
So,
Well,
Elsyan,
Elton will be walking about the place. He'll be. moving
Oh,
back.
why did it have to be with disadvantage?
because Felipe can't leave the bubble.
Whereas Elton can, because there's nice.
Well, I mean, he could maybe I don't know, like he could sit on
Yeah,
on
so-
Arachne.
probably fair.
Arachne's in a tent, so in which case he wouldn't get to watch. So yeah, so go ahead and make your watch then, Elsyan.
So just a perception check
Yep, just a perception check.
with the +6,
Mhm.
I believe, or was it +7 at this point? +6.
Okay.
perception.
As you're keeping watch, you're kind of moving around. The night sets in, and you hear off in the distance, a fair ways, the sound of wolves howling.
Oh,
You would have thought in this weather, wolves would not want to come out. This worries you slightly. You think, okay, if they're just wolves, we can take them. If they're anything else, then it's going to be an enigma to us, and we're not entirely sure what would come next. But keep yourself composed. You make sure that you're vigilant over your watch, and you don't see any. This happens for the first 4 hours because you're an elf, and you then proceed to You then proceed to go back to you go back into your meditative state, going back into how you want to do, and you pass off the watch to the next person. Sasha, go ahead and make a perception check. Are you leaving the bubble or no?
I'm in armor, so I will leave the bubble, but only to sort of like patrol and then return, and then patrol and then return.
Go ahead. Okay, so go ahead and make your check as regular.
Like staying very close to the bubble.
And Felipe again with disadvantage.
Yep.
Nope, that is a 6.
Nope. Felipe.
Not one, Felipe.
He's busy. He's busy annoying Aurum, picking things out of her.
Sorry, guys.
Picking things out of her scales and all that. Sasha, you walk outside the bubble a few times. You kind of take a look around, but the snow is difficult to see past. You can't seem to see or hear anything as the night goes on. And Malcom, final one.
Okay.
And again, disadvantage with Arachne.
Yeah, for Felipe.
Or not Arachne, Felipe.
Alright. So,
Oh, there we are.
finally,
16.
Okay.
Oh god.
Felipe completing his cleaning duties of Aurum, of pulling things out of her scales, probably dried bits of snow and rock, just bits of dirt and that kind of thing. You keep an eye out, Malcom, through the snow, bobbing out here and there, kind of checking in on Arachne and the lizards. They seem to be fine. They're kind of all curled up, using each other as body heat and huddling around the stone. You keep an eye out and you can't really seem to see anything. Felipe does notify you, Queglod, that Felipe does hear more wolves further out this time.
Okay, that's a little...
They're further
Well.
away than last time.
Well, that's good to hear.
Sorry, I was AFK for a second. What was going on?
Any wolves that are actually out in this storm are probably quite desperate.
So, as you wake up, you prepare yourselves, you put all your armor on, you eat up what you need. Behold, I'm going to say for the nature of this entire journey, use up... Because it's a day's worth of long life rations, I'm going to say take off 8 pounds of ration. You're feeding your companions as well, so 10.
Firewood?
Firewood, you're setting up basic fires to just to deter anything. So very small fires, just general kindling, so we'll say 5 pound. Unless you wish to set up big fires, in which case you can specify to do so at the beginning of the long rest.
How much long life rations? 5 or?
10 pounds.
10. Oh, 10 pounds.
Yeah. So, as you begin to set yourselves up and you begin to move through the rest of the day, go ahead and make the animal handling check. If you don't want to have advantage, you can forego it. And navigation again from you, Elsyan, with advantage.
Cool.
There we go. 23.
23, okay. Yeah, you managed to get control of the lizards. They're perfectly fine with making sure they're okay with it now. You feed them, you pet them, you make sure that they're given enough rest and water, and then you travel on your way and they seem to be generally okay. Elsyan, you keep tabs on where you are. You know you're roughly 3 or 4 days away from your destination. You kind of lead the party in their general direction. Perception checks from everybody again?
13.
60.
Ghaakt, maintaining the vigilance. Queglod, as you're kind of sat around, you kind of feel a little bit jammed between Sasha and Ghaakt, and you're kind of just looking around. Have you been riding on Arachne this entire time?
Yes.
Roll an athletics check for Arachne, please. This will be for the second day, and then I'll roll again on the next day. 2.
Oh.
She is lagging behind. She is finding it very difficult to keep this up with you on her back. There is enough room for you on the sled.
Get off onto the sled.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. You get off onto the sled,
Good luck.
and you're on the back of it. And actually, no. Due to the nature of how the sled would be, you'd be 2 abreast, so it shouldn't be. There we go. So,
Thank goodness it was lonely back here.
yeah, you continue on. Arachne is. It's not the easiest to ride on Arachne's back, and she's not finding it very comfortable. So you get off, you get onto the back of the sled. You travel along, and you're kind of trying to keep watch where you can, all of you. Queglod, you spend most of your time watching Aurum kind of just barrel through the snow. Just like the little snowplow that she is, just charging through it. Ghaakt.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of the day, as you're watching, you kind of look out onto the various bits of the horizon. You begin to notice swirls and shapes in the snow. And as you kind of look over, you see up ahead, not too far from where you are, wolf tracks. This means that they moved through here maybe an hour or two ago. The wolf tracks themselves, nature check for anybody. I'm going to say disadvantage unless you're stopping.
Are we gonna stop? Because I would like to take a piece.
God, no.
We ain't got time to stop.
Okay.
Alright.
Disadvantage
stop,
on
won't
nature
stop.
checks.
Yeah.
Everyone? Or...
Everybody disadvantage on nature checks, yeah.
Alright, nature,
If
for
ever
me,
enough time to get two
that's a
20s.
14.
Oh, what a time to get a 20.
Oh, fuck.
What a
Right,
time to
I
get a
got
20.
14.
Oh, whoops.
Let's see, nature.
Elsyan.
I got a total of
Seven.
0.
No, I've rolled.
Okay. No, I was going to say Elsyan. You get a regular roll because you've got your book of
That's
lore.
7.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well,
Just a regular roll, book of lore.
Yes,
Just
12.
just roll one. Yeah. Just re-roll it. It's fine.
Wait, why did my dice turn into all
Oh.
10s?
9. Okay.
So nature check, yeah?
Nature check
Yeah,
on
that's
you.
still a 13.
Still 13. What's your total, Malcolm?
Mine's a 14.
14. And Queglod?
17.
Okay. Malcolm, something isn't right about these tracks. You look at them and it's not natural. Same as what you see as well, Elsyan. You notice that these are different. Queglod, you've seen these during times of harsh winter in the Highlands. These used to attack the small village where you came from. These are tracks either of a dire wolf or typically a winter wolf. Winter wolves are known for being cruel, and they thrive on hunting lesser races. They are extremely brutal creatures that can breathe ice. And they
Oof,
typically
okay, that's
hunt
insane.
down, they will hunt in packs of anywhere ranging from 2 to 8. And they are typically extremely dangerous, especially in times of winter, because you don't see them coming. They are very good at ambush predators, and they are very good at tearing apart smaller creatures. Giant lizards included. You imagine that if they got the jump on you, Arachne, Aurum, or both the giant lizards will be put to sacrifice, depending on how many there are. Looking at the tracks, you can tell there's maybe 3 or 4 of them. You're not entirely sure, though.
Okay. Right. Remember what direction? Heading?
The tracks seem, from what you can tell, they seem to be going from west to east.
Go west.
So they're running. So they're. If they're heading to
We're
the
heading-
east and we're heading to the north,
Well,
They crossed your path.
north.
By the looks of it, maybe an hour or 2 ago.
And we don't know
So
where
they
if
were-
they turned around or not.
Yeah.
Which way is the wind blowing?
The wind is blowing. It's running from north to south, generally.
Okay, so that's... At least that's something.
Yeah, they shouldn't have our scent. They shouldn't have our trail since we're behind them.
Yeah.
Um,
In all honesty, if they did attack, Aurum would probably be fine because she's just snow shoveling, so they probably wouldn't notice her.
She just
The
comes
best-
busting out of the snow.
Just us giving them a hug more than anything.
Mm. You continue pushing forward?
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably the best idea. Yeah.
Okay. As you do, you're kind of looking around, and again, Ghaakt with your kind of observation, looking around. Where you previously saw those tracks, you see what looks to be a tree fallen up ahead, where it's kind of hit the snow, and you can see where the snow's kind of pushed back apart from all of this. You divert yourselves around, easy enough to do, and as you get to the other side, you notice that there is a large amount of uneven snow in this area. Give me a nature check.
Me?
I'm going to say anybody who is not doing something currently can make this check. So that means...
Disadvantage again, or...
Nope.
Elsyan and
Regular,
Bhold.
regular intelligence for this.
Sasha's
So-
being useless, so...
It's not. It's just not my day.
Alright.
Nope.
You said that's nature?
An 8.
You said that's nature?
What'd you say, Infernal?
Am I doing something? Or...
Yeah, you're controlling the actually no, you know what, Elsyan and Infernal, you can Elsyan and Bhold, you can both make these actually, because you're controlling the thing, so you'd see this and you'd maybe get a chance to look at it, and Elsyan, you've got a little bit of time.
I got a 16.
So what check was this again? Perception.
Nature.
Nature.
Nature. Oh, okay.
13 for me then.
So
I got a 16.
12.
16. You look at this. Immediately, you kind of look at this, and it's just like, okay, it's just uneven snow. But then you get a message from Featherwing. Featherwing's flying a little ways up. She's okay, or he's okay with this climate. He's a white pseudo dragon.
And this is the mountain he's from.
Yeah, this is near enough to the mountain he's from, so he's okay with this climate. As you look through Featherwing's eyes, you look down and you can see yourselves quite happily. It's not a... This isn't unevenness in the snow. This is a paw print.
Oh.
It's about 12 to 15 feet across.
Oh shit.
And the tree looks like it's been almost knocked over forcefully.
So a paw print is how large again? Sorry.
12 feet.
Naturally, about very much less than a foot. Naturally, for the winter wolves that you've kind of gotten, they're maybe about a foot at most. This is.
I think you said foot instead of inches.
Yeah. That's the winter wolf. This paw print is 12 to 15 foot.
Foot. Okay, so it is. Oh.
Yeah, it is a massive paw print.
That's a
So
big
it's
doggo.
bigger than me.
Okay, what way is this thing facing?
Yeah, that's what I was
Eastward.
about to ask.
Where?
It's going.
Go west.
It's going from west
Go
to
west.
east.
Guys, west. I suggest west.
I suggest we start heading up just a little to the left, to the west of our current location.
Just a little.
Might not be a bad
Can I
idea.
s- Can we?
Bhold is very interested in this.
I'm
Of
thinking
course
it's a very
Bhold
good
is.
idea.
But I'm
But
the
this is a
navigator.
really
So
bad
go
idea.
west.
I'm
No.
controlling the lizards.
Hold is aroused.
Sorry. Can we? I'm directly behind Bhold. Yes.
I am.
Yes, you are, because it's two abreast. So Elsyan, you're next to Behold.
Right. I'm going to say to him, you follow what Elsyan says, or you will be left alone to deal with this alone. We are
I mean,
not
honestly-
messing with this right now. Come on, Behold. You need to hold off just until we can get our bearings out of this stuff. You can hunt it down when it's summer.
Yeah,
We
come
can
on.
come back
Behold
later.
off.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Let's go.
Bhold
I
makes
didn't think it was a good thing that we were a day behind.
Yeah,
Ah,
actually, the problem is.
Behold makes executive decision.
Okay.
Oh no.
So you guys
Behold's
You guys are
strength
heading
is
northwesterly now, heading a little bit away from the mountain, but to try and divert from whatever
So-
this thing is.
Lists away from it.
Yeah.
We do not want to encounter this thing.
Okay.
Wait, which way were the other wolves heading?
They were heading in the same direction. They're going from west to east.
Okay,
Maybe they
so
know
that's
something
good.
we don't. Maybe we're heading
Yeah.
towards something worse than all of this.
Maybe there are a lot of bad things on this mountain, so I
yeah.
heard.
Yes.
Okay, then shall we just go straight follow our path along then?
Yeah, just go straight.
Yeah.
Let's just go straight.
Okay. Coasting along
If we
How I did my entire life.
Okay.
Great.
Coasting along to the north, you continue heading northward.
Sorry about that. That was.
Traveling as fast as you can. You kind of pick up the pace a little bit. You need to try and catch a little bit of extra time. and you begin to kind of travel through. While this is going on, you kind of reach the end of the day. You set up camp as usual. Do note, by the way, are you alternating your spell slots now, guys, or are you still?
Yeah, I
No,
really think
it's fine. I can.
no. Up to one from me, one from you. That way, it'll always be. That way, we'll always have most of our stuff left. And Ghaakt can come in whenever he wants to.
Well, Ghakt's going to be presumably casting in his tiny hut, so
Yeah.
Ah, that's true. Okay, yeah.
it's
So
probably
one
smart
money.
for him to be a bit more conservative.
So, you spend your you just keep in mind that both of you, because of the nature of this, you will wake up and use the spell slot. So don't restore 1 third level spell slot each.
Yeah, I know.
Just keep that in mind. You set up rest. Watches from people as usual. So Elsyan, if you'd like to take the first one, followed by Sasha, then Malcom as usual.
I'll do.
And are you in
For
armor?
Elsyans.
For Sasha and
Haha!
okay.
Oh,
Yes, on
no
the Sasha.
worries.
Elsyan, as you're looking out, you're standing there. This time, you're the one who hears it.
Oh.
Is that a fucking T-Rex?
Can you replay?
Is that a Tarrasque?
It changes. There's multiple variations of this. Hold on.
Is that a Tarrasque? It sounds like it could be.
Um,
I don't want to fight a Tarrasque.
Ended up
unless-
100%. Let's go.
not 100% no.
What happened? Oh, more
Uh-huh.
roaring.
This is coming almost definitely from the east, but you catch the sound of 2 roars.
Are they different or are they the
They
same?
are different. You identify that one of them you suspect is probably the same as Ghaakt. Roll me a nature check.
Everyone? Or-
No, just Elsyan.
That's
You can't identify the other one, but it doesn't sound the same. It sounds more like a roar
Let them fight.
than the other. And you
Really,
can...
I was going to get involved and start going to have a lovely little tea.
That's my plan.
Oh.
These are big things. They're big and scary. Knock them one.
Malcolm, no.
Malcolm will get eaten.
See, I love that.
Why is Bhold not on one?
Malcolm's going to go see him. Malcolm, no. Elsyan's running
Okay.
after him. No.
Yeah. You
Sorry,
hear...
rock the telekinesis.
You do hear what sounds to be fighting between these 2 creatures. You just on the wind. This is quite a ways away, but your perceptive nature of this, you're very much picking this up from a long distance away. Yeah, that. You you hear these creatures fighting, and as this kind of all just comes to a general conclusion, shall we say, you hear the sound of a screech and the tear of and break of bones on the wind. One of these things seems to have felled the other. You're not sure what these things are that are fighting, but the fact that you can hear them over the blizzard is very scary. You saw this thing's track, and you are very much worried for what's going on, and you find this a little bit disturbing as you go into your rest. I'd like you to roll me a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
Is this me?
This is you, to maintain your composure as you go to sleep. With advantage.
I know.
Total?
It'll be +3. Damn it! I need to
Okay.
remember to remove.
As
that
you go to sleep, the sounds of these things just play over and over in your mind. Should you encounter this creature, you will be immediately scared of it. No saving throw.
Rude.
Should you encounter it.
How rude, sir.
As your mind kind of leads you on, leading you into many different forms, and kind of you try to get a picture of it, and nothing really forms. Due to the nature of this being a dog track, you imagine some kind of giant dog in some kind, but you're not entirely sure of what it would be. As
Guys, I just did some quick math.
Mm-hmm.
You know that big paw print we saw?
Yes.
Yeah, if it's going by like
Normal dog proportions.
normal like wolf proportions, since I'm assuming it's not a dog, 108 feet tall. 108.
Now, Harlan, now you're not going to believe this.
When
I
can we
must be
see
going
it?
insane.
And I need to find it.
No,
It's
no.
Big Puppy.
Big Puppy eats you. Big Puppy lick you up like kibble.
Big Puppy.
Behold slay, big puppy.
No. Mine.
You want to tame that thing?
Yes.
Sasha is leaving you both to your fate.
I
So,
think even
Let
by
us go. Wow.
Queglod, if Bhold goes for this, like, are you gonna try to save him, or are you going to let Darwinism take its course?
Don't be silly, Elsyan. Of course I'm not going to allow Bhold to get himself killed trying to take that thing down.
Might not allow it, but it won't stop him.
okay. So,
Let's pop it together.
I think I'm more scared of this situation than we should be, but I don't think we are.
I will, in fact, knock out Malcom if he starts to go off towards this.
Oh boy, this entire saga of being on the snow mountain is 90% of Malcolm being knocked unconscious so he doesn't do stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd expect that of you, Elsyan.
See, here's the thing. Elsyan will be reluctantly running alongside you. Go, this is a terrible idea, Malcolm. Seriously, man, turn around.
Think of the pay. Think of the honors.
I mean,
You could
I'm
be-
not just...
To
Think
make
of the
you his
people we can
daimo.
get. We
Yeah,
can
but I-
eat Sasha with it.
Okay. I have a begrudging hatred and much tolerance of Sasha. I don't necessarily want to see Sasha dead. Not
Yeah.
necessarily.
Oh
Malcolm,
my
you kinda came
god!
up to that
Scare
all by
Sasha with
yourself.
it.
If
Given our
anyone's,
previous relationship, this is like a proposal more than this is like.
if anyone's
Oh.
going to kill Sasha, it is going to be me.
so, as your watch concludes to an end, Sasha, I would like you to make a perception check. Adorning your armor as normal before preparing your watch. Again,
6.
you kind of look out across the blanket of snow. Ooh, nice. Not really much for you to see. Felipe doesn't seem to pick up on anything, from what you can tell. As kind of the time goes on, you're kind of sleeping, and all of a sudden you feel a very strong pierce in your mind, Queglod, as you kind of feel Felipe almost forcefully waking you up. And as you wake up, you look through Felipe's eyes. Sasha, you watch as Queglod just shoots up. Her eyes go dark. As you
Immediately rush over
watch
to
as
Queglod.
as you watch as Felipe's head just turns and looks out in a northeasterly direction.
Oh shit.
You look out and you can see, with Felipe being able to see just about through this, utilizing your Devil Sight Dark Vision for this, Queglod. You look out and you can see what looks to be 3 perfectly white wolves, kind of a slight contrast to the darkness of the night. As you kind of look out, you can see them. They look to be running along, carrying what looks to be wyverns in their mouths, dragging them along. Dragging them by the neck and just pulling them through. One of them seems to have what looks to be a white dragonborn. All of them are just completely dead. And then you see it. What you thought was a tree pulls up from the snow, moves a good 30 to 40 feet ahead, and there's as you watch as a bit of snow is pushed aside. These creatures don't seem to have noticed you, but you watch as an adult white dragon is being dragged dead through the snow.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
And as you get a
no.
better look at this thing, being able to see through the being able to see through the treetops with that high roll, you see what looks to be a large wolf head, but the top portion of its head, from its jawline to the back of its neck, the upper portion looks almost like a skull has been placed on top, going down the length of the snout with two large horns cresting at the top. And it just has this white dragon in its maw and is just dragging it along. You watch this thing, you gulp. I would like both of you to roll wisdom saving throws with disadvantage, please.
Cerberus!
No.
Speaking of which, you do see another head reach round and grab the wings of this thing and pull it
Oh,
along,
come on!
dragging it further through the snow. Sasha, you as well, because you are there. You cannot see this thing, but you hear it, and you can hear the heavy panting of Queglod as she is now shaking. Disadvantage.
Oh, I'll do the other one as well then.
Nope.
Even though
Oh,
you
super
can't,
nope.
even though you can't see this thing, you get the sense from Queglod that this thing is far worse than anything you've ever faced before, and you kind of hear the light thuds as it moves through, the very close howl of the wolves as they are very close to you now. They
No.
They look around. They don't seem to notice you, and they continue moving, dragging the white dragonborn and the two wyverns with them. They pass. They continue moving on. And Ghaakt, you are never woken, or Malcom, you're never woken up for your rest. As Queglod and Sasha, as you are both left awake, unable to contend with the nightmare that is, I'd like you both to roll Constitution saving throws or fall a point of exhaustion.
Are you giving our characters PTSD, Chris? Is that what you're doing here?
12.
Nope. Okay, so long as neither of you rolled below a 10.
13.
Okay, you two are both fine. You don't suffer a point of exhaustion, but you're going to have bloodshot eyes, and you're going to look tired as you two are racked with fear. Malcom, you get a beautiful night's sleep. You aren't waking up for your watch.
Me too.
I'm upset.
God damn it. The two guys and one big creature are both sleeping. Fuck.
I know, right?
And as you all awake, you see Queglod and Sasha both there, both just staring off into the distance, shaking. I'd like you both to make wisdom saving throws again to kind of come over your fear.
Are you two?
Damn.
Can I try and snap them out of it?
Well, this depends on if they succeed or not.
That's a 19.
Okay, you're fine. You managed to break yourself out of it, kind of. You feel the fear ran through you. The sheer presence of this thing scaring you to your core. Queglod is still held firm by fear.
Can I try and help snap Queglod out of it?
Go ahead. Make a medicine check.
Oh, Sasha, what happened?
Are you okay?
That's...
Seem a bit...
We're going to be heading forward now.
That's 10.
That was...
You
What happened?
get a look
Why
at
are you
Queglod.
shaking?
You get a sense that there's nothing you're going to be able to do for her. Only time and her own mind is going to be able to overcome this.
Would I be able to try and set up a telepathic connection? Because well, I would be able to, but would Queglod be able to talk through telepathy?
Yes, but it would be with stutters and probably one word at a time. And the majority of it would probably be saying the word help.
Okay.
And as you kind of set that up, you get a sense that she is shaken to her core, something you've never seen in her before.
Alright,
Not
I'll be back.
Sasha, what happened last night after my watch?
I'm gonna tap my head quickly and then look at Elsyan.
I'm nodding and following on.
Okay.
And giving the telekinesis.
Telepathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You set up the
Telepathy.
telepathic connection.
I'm gonna
Is
set
it
it up
just
between
with
the-
Sasha?
I'm gonna set it up between me, Queglod, and Sasha.
Okay.
There is the occasional
Well-
murmur of help from Queglod's side as
Okay.
she
if
is still
Queglod's-
racked with
If
this.
Queglod's no help, it's just gonna distract things, and it's not gonna help Queglod. So
Right.
you know what? Just Sasha.
I'm just gonna send to. She saw it and I felt it. We move forward and we don't look back.
We never talk of this again.
I heard it, but
Ghaakt, make a
We
medicine
go
check.
forward now.
What? Medicine check.
Can I
Actually, no,
roll
insight on
insight?
you, please. Not medicine.
Insight.
Can I do an insight as well to see what the
9. Wow,
tab?
look at that. Insight.
Then
8.
8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With your insight,
-1.
you get the sense that they are scared. You don't know whether a song would help, but that then comes down to you. It will mean that you won't be traveling quietly.
Hmm?
That comes down
I'm
to
going
whether
to
you.
heed their warning and not.
Yeah. Go ahead, Infernal. Roll an insight check as to what's going on.
Can I do the same?
Yeah. Go ahead. So, Behold, as you look at Queglod, Malcom, you just think that Queglod just hasn't got enough sleep.
yeah.
You're not.
Can
you're
I
not
try
sure.
and Can I try and quietly talk to her once we travel?
I won't do music, but maybe I can hum a nice melody.
Make a performance check.
Did I hear about anything about the big wolf thing?
Nope.
Or was
Nope.
said?
No, it wasn't. It was
No, they're
it was,
keeping this away from us.
Performance.
They couldn't even say big
Oh
thing.
wow, 10. Jesus.
Plus 10.
I was gonna cast pass.
So it says skills, and the thing on performance is 10.
Okay, so that brings that to a grand total of
22.
22. You begin to hum a melody. Queglod, make a wisdom saving throw with
Mm.
advantage.
Woo.
It's 4 ones.
That,
Oh god.
Yeah, no, that's a 13.
13. Okay. You begin to the fear doesn't leave you entirely. There's like a residual kind of just a residual sense of dread and feeling like you are but an ant to this thing. Where
Probably 'cause
previously you've felt this before, being a halfling to most other races, they see you as a small race, but you've never felt like you meant so little. And you sit there, the humming and the tune kind of breaks through that sense of fear. It strikes clean and clear into your mind, and you kind of get a hold of yourself. You're able to breathe. You breathe slowly. You manage to compose yourself, but the fear is still there. Your sense of
Alright,
speech
Queglod.
is scattered, but present.
Can I whisper to Queglod as we're traveling?
Yeah, as you're traveling, we'll go ahead and do that. However, I would like an animal handling check from Infernal and then
my
navigation. I will do the insight. I'm just getting you to roll that so we can get that on the way.
Yeah.
And does your navigation with advantage? Behold, you have advantage if you want it. Just saying.
Just
Alright, so Elsyan, you
hilarious.
manage to you keep
Why
yourself
you wanna-
composed and you continue to travel forward. Using this to the best of your knowledge and using Sasha's advice, you travel in between the two paw prints and bypass any evidence that they came by, as to try and assist with Queglod's recovery.
Yeah.
Infernal, you've never seen Queglod this frightened before. You've seen her frightened on rare occasions when you've seen large creatures, just either traveling nearby, dragons, Behirs, generally violent people. But even then, she's never really had a fear for it. You get the sense that she saw something far greater than anything you've seen before, and you've seen a lot of things. You've nearly seen the end of the place which you called home, Adamanthia. And yet...
This is scarier.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get the sense that she saw something, and as you're kind of travelling along, you notice it, but you don't say anything. You have the respect not to say it in Queglod's presence. She must have seen whatever that thing was last night.
What did it
Whatever
look like?
that big thing is.
Can you draw me a picture of it?
Queglod.
As
Sasha
the-
can and will push you off the sled.
As the day goes
I
by,
believe you.
Queglod, make another wisdom saving throw with advantage due to the tune helping earlier, and the sense of dread leaving you now. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
enough.
19.
Just meeting the DC of 18, you manage to. By the way, that's the outer range of that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, yeah. Don't get into melee with that thing unless you're Behold and you have immunity to fear.
Is Behold immune to fear? Too stupid to be scared.
He's got the Ring of Iron Will, and then once he gets to a certain level, he's got the Mindless Rage, which means he can't be charmed or feared or be frightened. So he'll
You
be
just
immune
see
to it.
Behold raging, running at this thing, and
Yeah.
he just gets popped.
So would tell me, Behold is either too angry or too stupid to be scared.
Too angry
Yes.
to die. Yep. So, you manage to shrug it off, the sense of the fear leaving you, and you kind of compose yourself once again. Felipe does help, snuggling up to you, but Felipe also suffered a sense of dread from this. And you get the sense that whatever that thing is, it's heading westward, which hopefully means the last of it. Over the next 3 days, you travel through the snow. No more checks are needed as time goes by. You travel through the snow. There is nothing else that tries to intervene with you. The winter wolves and whatever that creature is have headed far enough west that they are no longer a threat. They crossed your path twice, hunting an ancient white dragon, but you finally reach your destination through Elsyan's consistent knowing where you're going, and Behold's grasp on the animals before you. Travelling through the snow, the pines kind of giving way to a clearing, you see the edge of the mountain now, the rocky surface around, the old road covered with slick with ice. And you see before you, Sasha, a dwarven doorway. Familiar sight, an old sight of dwarven masonry, dwarven runes reading across the top.
Ooh, what does it say? What does it say?
The home of the Gilded Halls.
Does that mean anything at all to me?
Roll a history check with disadvantage. Nobody
Ooh.
else can make this.
Can I go?
I mean, question, does this count as stonework?
No, this is history as in, not stonework as in dwarven families.
Right, that would be a 7.
Okay. There are plenty of untold dwarven families that you are unaware of. This might just be one of them.
Oh my. Look, I'm gonna tell it to you straight, guys. We're going in there, and that's just happening, right? Good.
Sure.
Those are dwarven
Fine.
runes, aren't they? We could have to
Yes,
talk to
they
the
are,
dwarves.
Elsyan. Come on,
I've
meet
got
the
nothing to
family.
Dwarves. I didn't think you had a family.
They're not my family. Well, they are my
Extended
family.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All dwarves are related through some complex mix of genealogy.
So you're an entire incestuous race. Wonderful.
I mean, if you count 53 generations between each other as incestuous, sure. In that case, all of the elves are in fact hillbillies.
Oh, I'm sorry. We like to keep our bloodlines pure.
Oh, yeah, pure filth, I'm sure.
So, you see the runes before you. The storm is raging, the lizards seem restless. You pull up to the edge of the doorway. The lizards very much seem restless. Arachne seems mildly excited. And Aurum just barrels through the snow, and you hear a thunk as she hits into something, and her head just pops out of the snow.
Can I use speak with the animals to figure out what's up with the lizards?
Go ahead.
Okay. I
All things that night, man. You don't know, man. You were
use
there.
it. Can you two hear me?
We can.
Can I ask why you two seem a little restless?
We've never been underground before. Is this the end of our? Is this the end of our stop, or do we have to keep going?
Hmm.
The darkness.
Question, Chris, is this the end of their stuff, or do we need to keep going?
That's up to you guys.
This is going underground, so I don't think we really need them anymore.
Yeah, but we might need them to travel. Well, we're through the blizzard now, so I guess we're good. Yeah,
Well,
we are through the blizzard, right?
Yeah. Well, no, the blizzard's still raging, but you're just at the base of the mountain.
By the time we're done in here, should the blizzard have passed?
Depends how long you spend in there.
Yeah.
Could we make a rough guesstimate as how long we'd have to stay down there for it to pass?
Well, seeing as it ends on the 25th and you're currently on the 17th, you'd have to stay down there 8 days.
That's not too bad.
And when does Frost thing come?
Right.
Well, it comes on the 7th of next month and you're on the 17th, so and it's 28 days in each month. So that would
So how many
be
days?
11 plus 7, so 18 days, so a little under 2 weeks. Well, a little over 2 weeks, sorry.
I honestly don't want to risk it. I'm thinking we bring them inside and then we see what our position is going to be in like the movement, and then we can decide whether to let them go here or whether we need them more. Like, if we can get where we're going underground, that's great. But if we can't, I'd prefer to still have them for a little bit.
I'm gonna kind of like translate most of that to them,
Okay.
just so they understand the situation.
They're fine with, if necessary, waiting outside. They're scared of the dark because of the shadows.
Right.
I can stay with them.
I can make light.
Right.
They,
How long-
with the
wait.
sound of light, they don't seem to be any less off-put. Just the nature of this is a dark area,
Right.
and they have.
We can set up the
seem
tent
to
for
be
them
out.
outside. We can set up their tent outside, and then
Okay.
like,
I
and
can
then
stay with them, and then you guys can tell me.
Oh, if you'd like to, that works as well.
Okay.
Although I prefer both at the same time, because like.
Okay. While you decide this, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. So,
Convenient.
we'll take a quick 5-minute break while they all decide what they're going to do, and then when we return, we will see what they plan on doing next. So, don't go anywhere.
may be necessary.
Right. So, we are back.
Mushroom dance.
And let's change this music. So,
Call you teapots.
Get some
Let's
Let's get jovial.
no.
I'm gonna
Stone shit.
I'm gonna call gut draggers, warmongers,
So,
pubic face.
oh, you found the website I found for Drog.
Oh, this is better.
Buds, it's good.
Spuds. Why are you calling us spuds? Both are lumpy and come from the ground. I'm trying to get Elsyan killed during
The best one for elves at the top. Butter boys.
Butterballs. Oh god.
Okay. Well, as you guys enter in, you set up the tent. The two giant lizards are waiting outside. Infernal, you're waiting outside as well.
Yeah, I'll wait with them
Okay.
until.
As you walk inside, Sasha, I would like you to roll a history check with advantage because of stone cunning.
Hooray!
Traitor babies. Interesting.
Does
That's half
the
off.
proficiency bonus take effect, or?
Double proficiency because of stone cunning. So
In
whatever
case.
your history is, +3.
Right. So that's a +2.
God damn it.
Hold on.
Oh.
It's as if you were proficient in
Oh,
history.
shit.
Oh, in that case, it's +2.
Can't you see I'm busy?
Oh, your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't have proficiency in it, so it's +2.
I don't see you online. Hold on. If I see you online, I'm gonna send him a message saying we're busy. No. You just
Doesn't he have university tomorrow?
probably.
Jesus Christ.
So
Well, he's crashed the game. That's great.
it's fine. We'll roll for you if it gets to it. So you look around, Sasha, and the inside of these walls are very nice. If they are old, very old. You could probably range
I
this.
see they've gone for the classic style.
You could range this back probably before the Ascension. So you're looking at maybe 1,500 years or older.
Oh, okay. Damn.
This is back during the early stages, when the deities were creating, when the deities were more solidifying their the races within these general areas. So you get a sense that this is probably during that stage, and it looks like it's been in a little bit worse for wear.
I mean, understandable with time.
Yeah. It has held itself though, as typical dwarven infrastructure does.
Mm-hmm.
As you begin to travel further on through, it goes on for a little way, not too far, and you come to what looks to be a fork, or a T-junction, I should say. A staircase leading up and a staircase leading down. Which way would you like to go?
Would I know anything about dwarven like placement to know where we'd be most likely to find people?
Dwarves.
I mean, they usually go down.
Yeah, I know, but I'm asking
Okay.
just in case.
General
there's
dwarven
any
infrastructure, from what you know, you're more of a hill dwarf, so it's a little bit more difficult to say for you. But for mountain dwarfs, from what you know, usually they will build downwards in terms of expansion and big infrastructure. But the majority, if there's an upward path, that usually means that's where their early civilization is. So,
Right.
if you're looking for modern, down. If you're looking for older stuff, there and potential, it is usually still used. It's just more out of the way. And you've got up for that. Generally, depending on the type of dwarves that build, sometimes they'll build big and grand areas. Usually they'll build compact. Or they'll build efficiently, and everything will be in generally square units with archways between every single square unit.
Well, with a name like Gilded Hall, I'm expecting something pretty grand.
Right. If the downstairs is more modern, do you think it's more likely that there'll be just people there? So, because that's where it's been expanded into. So let's head. I want to head down.
Okay. Rest of you following suit?
Sure.
Infernal is staying with the
Yeah.
lizards, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
You begin to head down the stairs. You head down a fair way. Goes down for about maybe a minute or so. It's quite a large flight of stairs going downwards. You imagine that there's probably some kind of, if this is separating it from the previous stuff, which is up above, then there's probably some kind of elevator or some other entrance, and this is probably just the way in initially. For the initial entrance. You continue heading down the flight of stairs, and eventually you see what looks to be another archway where it opens up.
Okay.
Do you guys have a source of light or anything, or are you relying on your dark vision?
I activate my drift globe
Dancing
with
lights.
Lumos.
Yes. Okay, so we've got dancing lights, we've got light from lighthouse, and we've got the drift globe. So you've got a sufficient amount of lighting as you're traveling down here. You walk down. You can see the another doorway with other dwarven runes on it. This one says the Gilded Hall.
Ah, well, I suppose. I mean, it's called the Gilded Hall. This place is apparently the home of the Gilded Hall. Let's go.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
You head through the archway, and you come onto a regular walkway. You've seen these kinds of things before. It's like, it's a stone walkway that goes straight ahead and then splits off again into a left and right. However, the walkway is elevated with a very short railing on either side. Enough for a dwarf, not enough for a regular-sized individual.
Right. Be careful, everybody.
Yeah, and looking over the edge, you can see you're maybe about 20 feet up.
Yes. Don't fall off; it will hurt.
You can see kind of stone down below. As you begin to look around, you can see this place expands out quite heavily. You can't see the edge. You can see the walls extending off into the distance. Queglod, with your dark vision, you can just about see about 120 feet away. On your left, you can see the wall. On the right, you can see it in about 80 or so feet away.
Okay.
So a
Right,
very large
I'm
hall.
just gonna
You
head-
see grand stone columns ahead of you as well, with what look to be some of them have a few staircases built into them going upward, spiraling upwards. You can see
Interesting.
that the pillars themselves are very well cut and kept. Each of them, it seems to have a very different, intricate design, seemingly built with care. But there's one thing you notice. These pillars have what look to be a golden sheen on the outside, but it's all tarnished.
Not in my dwarven city.
And I'd like
So
everybody
what-
other. I would like everybody other than Queglod to roll a perception check, and Bhold, obviously.
Who?
And you.
Other than you.
16.
No, other than you, because you're
other
outside.
than. Yeah.
Is that just a flat
17.
16?
Well, that's your perception.
Perception is 9.
a-
That's my passive.
18.
So
14.
seven.
Okay,
17.
no, then actually that's a 15.
Okay. You're all looking out. Sasha, with your natural perceptiveness, same with you, Malcom. You're kind of looking out. Elsyan, you catch a very faint glimpse of it as you're kind of holding your light sources up and looking around. Queglod, as you're looking up, you can see that the ceiling goes up about another 60 or so feet from where you're currently standing. To the rest of you, it goes up about 40 feet, and then stops as you see a layer of black. Almost like smoke kind of twirling around the top portion of this room. Queglod, you don't see this.
Fuck.
So the ceiling only goes up to about 40 feet?
From what you can tell, yeah.
I'm saying this out loud.
It looks to go a little higher than that. See up there. You
look-
can see the roof tiles. Or
Uh,
just up there at the top.
I'm looking up there. I can see black.
Queglod, it's
Smoke.
it's some sort of darkness, magical darkness.
That's very odd. I would normally know if I were looking through something like that.
Does Queglod know that she's looking through something like that, or?
Usually, yeah.
Oh shit. Then I may not be able to dispel it.
So
You can
you're
certainly
telling me
try.
There's some sort of something blocking your vision to the top of the ceiling then.
Yeah.
This is not right. Where are the dwarves?
This place seems a lot more pleasant.
I'm gonna scan. I'm gonna have a look at the. Well, I'm gonna use detect magic because I can just do that. And B, I'm gonna be having a rather closer look at the ceiling to see if this is supposed to be hiding anything.
Okay. You cast your detect magic using your magical sight. You look around. This is indeed magical darkness. You can see it more clearly now. Where this is encompassing a much larger area, this is encompassing the entirety of the ceiling of this room. Now, just for dimension's sake, you can currently see 200 by 120 because of your dark vision.
Mm-hmm.
So this expands for a long way. And
Right, you can use your true sight through Felipe, can't you?
she can see Devil's Sight naturally. So she
Oh,
can
wow.
see through the darkness. But for some reason she couldn't see it. With the detect magic she can now see the outline of this. And you get the sense that this, as much as this is magical, this is made up of thousands of darkness orbs. And their overlapping seems to cause some form of disruption with your Devil's Sight somehow.
Very strange. I suppose that would at least explain why they're able to cover such a large area.
And as you kind of look, you're looking up at the ceiling, you can see what looks to be just looking around, you can see from the staircases leading upwards, you see doorways. And the doorways have boulders and rocks in the way, blocking them off. The rest of the ceiling is intricately carved with what looks to be tarnished gold all over it.
Sasha,
Mm-hmm.
what would a large chamber like this typically be used for?
Chris?
This would be the community hub. So this is where most people would go. Any given situation, getting the dimensions of this is probably the Great Gathering Hall, where dwarves would either gather up treasure or finds, and they would store it here, or they would use this place as a general meeting hub where there would be markets, where people would kind of convene and get to know each other, and then
I
other
mentioned
areas,
this.
district areas to various bits of like shopping or
So it's
pub work.
town
I
square.
refer.
Town square, yeah.
Yeah. I guess you have to improvise.
One this size, you get an imagination that this is probably larger city-sized, near dwarf capital-sized, city-wide.
The fact that
size.
people aren't here means that they're either holed up somewhere or they're dead.
Hello, there's an elf there. Come kill the elf.
You shout that out.
Just
Yes.
Make a perception
No,
check.
I immediately cover your hand. Cover your
just
mouth.
out of
No, no,
curiosity,
what was that,
Why
Chris?
Make a perception check.
Thank you.
Chaotic good.
Okay. You look out into the darkness as you say that. Sasha kind of clasps over your mouth. You kind of pull away. And as you look out, you kind of strain your eyes a little bit as you see a form standing in the middle, directly ahead of you. May I remind you that you're at a T-junction going left and right, so you going straight down, you can either jump or find another way down. Queglod, with your dark vision, you can see that going left, it goes left and then it splits off to another into two other forks, and then goes downwards into two various rooms which aren't blocked off. Then to the right, it goes to a stairway that spirals down about 40 feet out. But as you see this figure, you kind of see it, and you strain your eyes.
Is it dwarf shaped?
No.
Well, I don't see any of your stunty little friend, Sasha, but that looks like some of them might know what's happening here.
The individual is small, but they aren't stocky like a dwarf. Queglod, I'd like you to roll me a perception check now.
Maybe
Ash-
they are a bit
yeah.
stunty.
Yeah.
Yeah, by small you mean sort of 2-3 feet, or?
Child-sized.
You maybe find just one of the guys who maybe find
You
it
all watch,
Maybe.
with the exception of Infernal, with the exception of Bhold, who's not there. You will watch as Queglod's eyes go wide. And you all look out as Queglod, you see your little brother
What?
standing there holding what looks to be a toy doggy in his hand. As he looks up at you, smiles, and then skips off into the darkness in the opposite direction.
What the fuck?
You know from your previous lore that he is safe with the Raven Queen.
Does that mean dead? That means dead.
That does mean dead.
Yeah.
Remember
But it means
what?
safe.
Wait, you haven't told us any of this stuff. Okay.
No. She
No,
hasn't told you.
but
Queglod,
Oh, wait, no.
are you okay?
Out of
Queglod.
curiosity,
didn't we hear what the one person said to her when we were leaving?
No, we heard that.
Yeah.
But we don't know what Queglod is seeing currently.
Yeah.
So we can't
No,
say that.
you get the general gist, most of you, that this, for whatever reason, Queglod is mildly shaken by this, seeing this sight.
Queglod, are you alright?
when we fought those shadow things the other day, what direction did those spirits fly away in again?
Northwest.
Okay.
You're
so-
northeast.
Interesting.
So it's next door to whatever that was. Let's hope there isn't some sort of competition. Some
Let's
sort
see
of,
who can be creepier.
Some sort of neighborhood necromancy off.
No,
I don't know
that's
why I'm
possible.
laughing. Millions, hundreds of my fellows could be dead. Thousands even, given the size of this place.
I mean, given
There
what I've
is-
heard, the one you
excellent.
have
Less
seen is
dwarf.
already dead, so...
Excellent. Even less dwarves in the world. Sorry, I'm getting very mean. I don't know why I'm so mean-spirited today.
You can joke about it later.
I
I'll
don't
joke
wish
about
to
it when I like.
alarm any of you, but there is someone here with us.
Mm.
Someone?
Small, childlike shape.
Yes. This. Yes, I know this child.
How
He's
so?
dead.
Should be dead. Ooh.
He is dead. His soul is with the Raven Queen, and she would have alerted me if that were to change.
Which
So
means
whatever,
that it's
whatever that
not.
figure is, it's
Not.
pretending to be someone it isn't.
Mm. Remember what the giantess told you.
Yes, I had assumed that warning referred to Chronicle, but it seems perhaps not.
Right.
Tap. 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 You hear footsteps behind you. Coming down the
Turn
stairs.
around instantly.
Okay, I'm gonna swivel round and immediately be
Behold, I
prepared.
knew you'd get bored out
Swiveling
there.
around, you see a relatively young dwarf. Currently standing there, kind of holding a short sword. Holding a short sword, you can see the sheen of it is it's golden on various edges. It is magical from just a general sense, from what you can tell. And the individual just looks at you and says, "Who are you?" Just holding out the short sword, seemingly untrained in battle. At which point you hear what sounds to be footsteps behind them.
We're adventurers. There's something wrong here. What is going on?
At which point you see two... You would recognize these Sasha Centurions. These are the traditional Dwarven Guard. Gilded in pure gold armor, with what looks to be steel and dark steel, just an underframe and general highlight to the Pulsions, holding spears and large shields as they kind of run up and they point. Both of their spears instinctually pointed at you, Elsyan. As one,
Don't worry about the elf.
as one of them kind of says, "Get back to the others. We'll hold them off." And they begin to back up as the.
We're not dangerous.
I'm
I'm a Smashfist. It's fine.
Make a
I'm not dangerous. My fellows won't hurt you.
Make a persuasion check.
This is very fun, like the Smashfest, so I've been this long-running family feud with people that you never told about.
The
Dwarves do that
Smashfist
shit,
that
man.
graced my family.
I believe that should have a +3, yes, so 19.
Let's do 19. One of the
What does
dwarves.
the Smashfist Book of Grudges say?
Look at Book of Grudges, my favourite thing.
I love that idea.
He
It's
looks at
beautiful,
you
so
and
petty.
he seems a little bit one of the dwarves. It looks a little bit unsure. But
My hands are up, by the way.
yeah, they're
Like-
wearing full helmets. They're wearing just pure armor. Sasha, I'd actually like you to make me a religion check, please. Actually, same with you as well, Malcolm. Seeing as you would know this symbol as well.
No.
I'm actually gonna say, Sasha, you
super
have
no.
Sasha, I'm actually going to say you have advantage on this because I shouldn't have. In all honesty, I shouldn't have made you roll for this, but yeah.
It's a 15.
Okay, that's a 14 for me.
Okay. Adorned on their shield is the symbol of a Turan.
Oh! I hold up my amulet of a Tauran immediately. Like, wait. I look. Praise be to a Tauran. I'm a cleric of hers. What's going on here? We've seen some weird shit, some weird stuff going on in that smoke over there in the darkness.
If you're truly who you say you are, then you'll back out of this area and you'll leave.
I will, but I want to know what's going on as we leave.
They're backing up the stairs at this point.
I follow them. I back out. I backing with them. They mean I assume.
Behold, roll me a perception check.
Really chill out here.
You're kind of just sat out there with the two giant lizards, and you hear
Cuddling.
you hear very fast footsteps going clank 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 clank, kind of disappearing, and they run past the entranceway that you heard, running down the same way you saw your friends go.
Yes, that's the stealthy dwarf noise.
Hey,
Now,
it
if
used
only-
to actually work on you, Elsyan.
You know very well, Elsyan. Or don't, actually.
Exactly. That's the point.
Do you do anything, Behold?
I assume I can't take a peek of what it is.
You can. You just have to go in and take a peek around the corner.
Yeah, I shall do that.
Okay. You make a stealth check.
What was that noise?
Tiptoeing in.
That was the fear.
Tiptoeing
Fear is what
in
it was.
fairly quickly, you kind of look around the corner and you can see what looks to be shiny dwarves running down the stairwell. And do you wish to follow them?
I'm gonna gesture to the lizards stay there somehow. I don't know.
Roll me an animal
And
handling
then
check.
walk behind.
Actually, no, don't even bother. They're just going to stay there anyway. They don't care what you say.
I mean, they said they were gonna stick around, so they didn't say they were going in. So
Right. Okay.
So you go.
Now sneak up behind them.
Okay.
No, don't
Follow-
sneak.
no, not sneak up on them. I'm just walking
Okay.
behind them.
Okay,
stealthily.
you're walking down, trying to make as little noise as possible, just in case, so you can get the jump on them if they're going to attack your friends. And as you're going down, after about a few seconds have passed, you hear what sounds to be shouting from down below. You're not entirely sure what's going on.
Is it dwarven?
You hear it sounds like deep guttural dwarven, and you hear what sounds to be something said in dwarvish, which is for the individual to back off. Before you see this small dwarven child with this golden short sword just runs up the stairs and just bumps straight into you, falls on his butt on the lower stair and just looks up at you, and there's a ah! As you guys will hear this, you watch as the two other Centurions, their heads immediately swivel round. One of them charges upwards, spear raised, and the
I'm
other one
sending-
is facing you guys.
I don't know what that is.
I didn't mean to hurt you.
No, that's my friend. He was waiting outside with the lizards.
Okay.
He,
He runs up,
he-
immediately takes a defensive stance in front of the other one, in front of the dwarf who bumped in front of you. What were you
Yes.
doing with What were you doing,
Behold,
Malcom?
put your weapons down and
Feathering.
just.
I don't have my weapon
You send
on.
feathering over top.
Okay, good. Just
Yeah, just
everything's fine.
the
We're
executive.
all fine. We're just going to get
Okay,
out.
what's
of
Feathering's
here,
AC?
okay?
Do you really think so little of Behold? Do you think he'd raise his weapon against a child?
Yes.
What's Featherwing's AC?
I obviously missed something.
Yeah, Featherwing.
13.
He sent Featherwing to fly over the top. And they hit. Okay.
Ah,
Featherwing takes 4 points of. Actually, no. Takes 6 points of piercing damage as a spear is thrust into the air, striking through Featherwing's hide and pushing Featherwing back down to the ground.
Alright, Malcolm's had enough of this. He's
Malcolm,
using
stop.
the ring-
Everyone,
He's using
stop.
the ring on the dwarf in front of him.
Okay. This is to charm.
This is the this is the suggestion. Casting suggestion.
They need to fail their charm first. What's
Yeah.
What's the DC?
17.
17. Okay. The first one in front of you. That is a total of 15. He fails. The one behind, who's protecting the child, fails. That's a 7. And the child, that's a total of 11. So they all fail. As one of them kind of seems a little bit more friendly towards you, you kind of charm them all, and they're all holding their position still, but they ease up a little bit.
I didn't mean to
I
hurt you. Are you okay?
I
Everything?
suggest all of you lower your weapons and hear us out.
No. If I could, Malcolm, let's get out of here because I don't like that darkness.
Well, I'm just having them lower their weapons for now, and then we can walk out and they can hear us out.
Okay, good.
Malcolm's
Let's do
right.
that.
Okay.
Fuse
The guard in front of you and the child succeed their next saving throw. Versus the suggestion, they lower their weapon, they look at you, they shake their head. But then as they kind of refocus and they look about the rest of you, their weapons remain lowered, as if they're almost pacified. They aren't aggressive towards you until you perform an aggressive action. However, their suggestion has been completed, so they can raise their weapons if they feel they are threatened.
Okay.
The child, obviously, he's carrying a weapon, he can't use it. The other guard, he lowers his weapons and he puts them away.
That's all I was trying to do. I wasn't gonna hurt Sasha.
Right. So
Go.
let's.
Now, why don't you all
go.
tell us exactly what's going on?
No. Out of here first. Out of here
We
first.
can walk and talk. We need information.
Well, then let's get with the walking.
I prefer to get with the talking, if you don't mind.
We can do both. You just said so. Let's go.
Elsyan, make a perception check.
Penny was a coward, Sasha.
For
An idiot, maybe, but a coward.
you hear a noise behind you, and as you turn around to look, you can't seem to see anything. You kind of turn back and continue walking with the rest of them.
But for once I go, Sasha, though, we do need to be moving. Let's go.
You move up now. You all continue up the stairway for a little ways. The guards are pacified. They're traveling with you. And as you get to the cross section again, they head up the stairs.
Right.
Why did we come from?
We came
down.
the door.
So
over there.
here's a quick side-on view on what you guys did. This is the way in. You went down the stairs to where a landing is, which then splits off into a T-junction. You waited here, and then these guys came down from there. Met you had a little bit of a conflict, and now they're heading back up this way.
Let's follow them because this is. We need to find out what's going on.
Oh, should I get the lizard?
They're not gonna come in here.
Just go check to make sure they're okay outside, and then just let them know we're going to be a little while.
I'm actually gonna heal Featherwing and send Featherwing over to him, and he
Oh.
can let me know if anything happens.
Okay. What do you heal Featherwing with?
I guess first level cure wounds. I guess.
Okay. Go ahead
Sure.
and roll your d8. I believe it's a +4 for you,
I'll
so
go
as long as you don't
check
roll a
on
1,
the
he's full
quickly
health. Featherwing's full health. Yeah. Featherwing goes out, kind of sits with them a bit, says a few things in Draconic, a few command words which they understand, and then flies back to meet up with you guys again. What were you doing again, Bhold?
I was gonna peek to look at the lizards and stuff.
Yeah, they're still fine. They're just gonna lie there and wait. They're out of cover and they're mostly out of sight, so then nothing should happen. If they were, they're gonna run off, so don't worry about that. They're not still tied to the sled.
Yeah.
So you'll have a sled with nothing to pull it. So, as you head in, you begin to head up the stairs, and as you do for a little ways, about another minute, you reach the top of it. The dwarves are still going, and they. How long does the charm last?
8 hours.
Yeah, fine. After that 8 hours ends. Oh boy.
So wait a minute.
Yeah, after the 8 hours ends, they realise they've been charmed, and they're going to be like, wait, oh no. So, you guys better make a good impression.
Okay.
As
What's going on here?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask them, like, what's going on here? What was that down there? Like, what's going on?
Something attacked us. We're not sure what our... The Gilded Legion, as they were known. They stood their ground, defended the lower grounds. None of them returned. The captain, Uthval Greymane, he took a platoon of them down, but we believe he fell as well.
The people are up in the older levels?
Indeed. The civilians are all holding up, and there's about 25 of our legion left, ourselves included.
So this attack came from within, then?
It did. We don't know what it was, but the entire place was wreathed in shadow. Torches snuffed out. Laughter. I'm not sure what, but a laughter, male and female. The shadows just closed in. Killed people, took them away. The darkness that you mentioned seeing, that came about 4 months ago. 2 months after the attack, when Ulfsvar when he first went in with his platoon of about 200 or so of our dwarves. Everything we had in there, gold, gems, weapons, it's all gone now, destroyed. We don't know what it was, but something attacked them. Something attacked us. We know that whatever it is, it can't leave through these hallways. We blocked off all exits. Can't leave for now. It sends its minions, these shadow-like creatures, up. It sends them up this hallway, the one way we couldn't properly block off. And as they head up, they hit our current defenses. And as you kind of reach this flat plateau, you can see inside this room that you now enter. It's lightly lit. You see a whitish marble with gold, with a golden outside to the majority of the borders to this. The room itself is a octagon, with what look to be 4 platforms on every other side, so every one of the diagonal sides. The platform is about 10 feet up, and on each of them you can see what look to be... They look like dragon heads made of brass and gold, with large ballista-like ammunition sticking out of their mouths. You can see in the center of the room there is a rune right in the center of it, and on each of the three edges, or on each of the two edges on the right and left, you see what looks to be two kind of clockwork guardians with these large stone and gold shields on each arm as they're kind of preparing them, as they kind of stand there stationary. And on the far exit you see a double door with what looks to be a larger version of one of these sentries. You can see two of the ballista per each one, and as you all enter, you can see the ballista. They all point at you as you watch as this small kind of black hook pokes up over the top with this spyglass in the top of it. As they all poke at you, each of the shield guardians kind of pulls itself active. You see a single yellow glow in its head with a singular lens, as it stands there, kind of armed and prepared. As it looks, one of the dwarves kind of walks up and says, "They're friends. Let them pass." And you watch as all of them kind of point away back to their stationary position.
These shadow creatures, the lizard folk from down the mountain, they've been dealing with them too. They found that fire or fire of some sort could turn them away.
They have a sacred nature to the way that they deal with these things. We are more technological based. We don't have that nature of magic. We deal more in the clockwork. And he kind of gestures to the 8 turrets and the 3 guardians.
Magnificent craftsmanship, by the way, to whoever made them. They're fantastic. Honestly, I only do blacksmithing myself, but the workmanship is clear to see. Sorry, enough of that. I am a cleric, as I said. I have a divine connection to a Turan. I could teach some of you to fight these things. Even if you are more technologically focused, surely there are some of you who still follow the more theological ways. I could teach them to access the divine power, and that may be useful in holding these things at bay.
There were. Most of the individuals that survived the whole ordeal are either prospectors, miners, or families. Civilians, really.
So this thing took out those that could deal with it quickly.
Exactly. We don't know what happened to them, but people were disappearing a short time before the darkness came.
Weakening and then striking. It shows an intelligence, which is more worrying than anything. I'm gonna quickly turn to my party and just be like, these are my people. I'm going to try and help them. Will you help me?
Why not?
Yes.
By the way, is this where Maverick is supposed to be?
No.
No, not yet. But
He's supposed to be above us.
Are you saying that out loud, or are you?
No, I'm just asking.
No, okay.
Also, the
now
fact that
I
these things
wanna.
I was gonna ask him anyway. I was just confirming with you guys.
Okay. Right. Our party might not quite be a full century of dwarves, but I'm a cleric at least, and
Which are a hell of a lot more useful. I'm not saying that in character.
Sounds like you've got some dogs down there.
And we've got some
telepathically,
experience.
you send that to Sasha. She keeps her composure, scowls at you.
My eye does it. My eye twitches violently for a brief moment.
I put Elsyan in a
Why haven't I
headlock.
thought of using telekinesis? And Sasha, why haven't I thought about this?
Right.
I put Elsyan in a headlock.
No, you don't hear this. You,
You
don't
don't,
hear
can
this.
tell
you
that-
don't know.
No, but I
Oh,
can tell. I can
just
tell from the
imagine-
scowl that he's being a naughty boy.
Imagine Elsyan just
Whoa.
repeating whatever Sasha is saying 1 second delayed.
Now's not the time. Now is not the time for that.
So,
Would we be able to rest up, maybe outside or in the cavern tonight, and then tomorrow maybe we see if we can't deal with the whatever this thing is.
we would not ask
We
you to
have
throw your
experience.
lives away to that thing.
We won't be throwing it away.
We'll
Well,
be throwing
definitely.
its life into the ground and cutting it.
Into the,
Mighty confident
preferably
with
into the
yourselves.
sun. I'm gonna throw it into the sun.
I assure
How
you,
do you
we are.
propose to get it there?
We are competent
Fly.
and we have much experience with any number of hardships.
Killed like 20 of these things a few days ago.
Yeah, I have a spell that can just straight up like
That's-
make a
that's
bubble of
not what I
immunity for
mean.
them.
The shadows,
Mhm.
we can take care of those. We have equipment to deal with them.
Mm.
It's the
But-
darkness. Moves on its own.
Malcolm, does Lighthouse do anything to like actual darkness or like darkness a spell or what?
Well, it can break through magical darkness.
At its current level, it can break through low-level darkness.
What how low level are we talking here?
We're talking base level of darkness, so I believe second level.
Right, I can use my drift globe to do a third level darkness breakage, but only one big one. Only once, really.
Yeah.
Per day.
Also, if Queglod had conveyed this, the darkness above is thousands of domes. You'd be able to break one.
Yeah.
Same with you, Malcolm, unless you wish to spend 6,000 seconds.
We're going for it.
Okay, I
Just
mean,
like,
let's
just
let's
like
think
that's
about
10
it.
hours.
up in the air.
Yeah.
so-
6,000.
6,000 seconds is like
That's even provided you
One
can
and a
even
half hours.
that's provided you can break them with your with Lighthouse.
Yeah. No, this darkness needs to be rooted out at its source.
I'm just saying, 6,000 seconds is only like 1 and a bit hours.
That's assuming
6,000.
that it doesn't do anything to try and stop us.
Yeah, math it out. Yeah, but if it
6,000
doesn't try and
divided
stop
by
it, maybe we
60
can-
is 100. 100 is 100. That's 100 minutes, which is 1 hour 40 minutes.
No, that's not actually that long.
Again, assuming they don't try and stop us doing it.
Yeah, and combat
Yeah.
rounds, last 6 seconds, so that's 6,000. That's 1,000 turns I can attempt to kill you with anything.
But there'll be
Yeah.
there'll be nothing.
And that also further
Stop us if
assumes
they're all
that,
dead.
also further assumes it is only that.
But it's
orb
the
that's
darkness that's doing.
affected. No, we
Remember,
need to find out what's
that-
causing the darkness. And to do that, we need more information.
Well, in that case, what have you? Well,
As you're
what have you
traveling,
got so far?
as you're traveling forward, you're continuing to travel along the along this area. After passing through the double doors, you immediately move into what looks to be the old hub. Vastly smaller compared to the grand hall, but still relatively large for dwarven infrastructure. You can see people moving around. People look depressed. There is no happiness here. People seem to be sad. A lot of the dwarves look very thin. For dwarves, they seem to not be running very well on food. There are a lot of people who look ill, and those who are blacksmiths. There's currently 2 working away. They look worn out, bruised. You can see quite a few of them have what look to be bleeding hands, where they're currently working through the pain for whatever reason.
Right. Tell us what you need. What you need done at the moment. I can help with blacksmithing, healing, and potentially making some food. This cannot be allowed to continue.
Then everything will be needed. At which point you see Dwarf currently walking up to you, kind of an old professor feel, bald on top, whizzy hair that's just white all around, and kind of like just a ring around his head, a very long beard going down to about his ankles, where it's kind of rolled and tied up with a pin. And he kind of wanders up, pulls up his specs, and goes, "Another dwarf. Another dwarf. Why? Where did these lot come from? Why did you let them in?" This lot, they're friends. They're adventurers. They've come to help.
Greetings.
Let me see. He walks all the way up to your face, Sasha. Like all the way, way within your personal space, and he just begins like pulling at your cheek.
I'm completely fine with it.
And just begins like pulling at various bits of your hair. Elsyan, roll me with some saving throws to stop the snickering.
Okay, one thing, there's going to be snickering. Mainly because I'm also chanting in Sasha's head, kiss, 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 kiss.
Yeah, this is just so that your snicker isn't audible for him. Okay, wisdom saving throws, like, It's catches, but he doesn't seem to care. It's like, elves. He
Whoa,
tell me
listen
about
up.
Yeah, he doesn't say it. That's just the face he gives you. He says, "Well, they're
I'm just
real,
gonna
alright.
nod. I'm just gonna look at him and go, yeah.
Yeah, for a second, when you first voiced this character, I thought you were going to give him a Bronx accent. It was all this elf doing here.
What's all this here then?
No,
I'm walking here.
not these ones. Not these dwarves.
Oh, if only. I'd like dwarves more if they were from
It
Boston.
turns out this entire time, Sasha's been talking in a full-on Brooklyn accent. It's just, I didn't know it.
They're real, alright. The captain will want to see you if you're definitely here to help, but I'd say you're probably better turning around and leaving. At which point
we've heard about what's happening here.
You watch as he pulls out a copper wire. He says a few things into it, just like in Dwarvish, which anybody who speaks Dwarvish here, you understand.
Nope.
That's a peasant language, one I know.
I do.
Okay.
Of course I fucking speak it.
Yes,
yeah,
I speak it as well.
You speak it as well. Okay. You hear him say, "Captain Opurius, we have adventurers who wish to see you." And as he says this, you kind of hear a voice from far away go, "What do you mean we got adventurers?" And you see this. You see this dwarf walk over, eye patch over one eye, large great sword over his back. Just
I love him already.
with gold. He just waddles up.
Dwarves.
Yeah, he waddles up to what he is, and he's like, "So, you adventuring types.
Aye.
What the frick you doing here?"
Adventuring, funnily enough. It's kind of the name.
Oh, shut your gob elf.
We were heading.
Whoa, whoa, no.
I'm gonna
Back
tell.
to
Whoa.
We've got a telepathic like I'm shouting at you. Shut the fuck up, Elsyan.
No.
No, Malcolm's gonna walk up to Elsyan and put his.
I put him in the headlock. I do it. I just grab him by the neck and just.
Right. Don't
The
worry about
moment he
it.
says it, everyone just jumps and just like subdues Elsyan.
Elsyan, sniff this pit.
Does this smell of chloroform to you, Elsyan?
Okay.
Now, Elsyan, may I remind you, you still can speak telepathically.
Speaking of which, I don't think Ghaakt even knows why we came here. No one
Oh,
told them.
Maverick.
Oh, you're just following us. It's great.
You saying that, Behold?
Why are we here?
Behold, you say that?
Yes.
What is
Maverick.
that?
How do you know him?
We
We know him because of this, and I show Lighthouse.
What, some fancy pole?
It's
Wow.
called Lighthouse from the Dawn Marshals.
So you stole a street lamp. What you want from me? So we got ourselves a couple of vandals.
So, wait, you stole a lighthouse? I didn't know that
Is
small.
your giant friend wheeled around a stolen letterbox or something?
Okay. guys. Some of us can only stay here for so
you
long.
just put the image in my head now of Bhold
Yeah.
wielding a letterbox as a weapon.
Right.
We just gotta get going.
Future weapon.
Yeah,
Hey.
let's
Baseballs break mailboxes. Now the mailboxes break you.
Just listen.
That doesn't
So
mean
we've
anything.
mentioned-
That don't mean anything to us. How do you know Maverick? The fact that you know Maverick and you're here. So you know you.
Not yet.
Possibly, maybe.
Well,
Who knows?
maybe,
There's
but
a
probably
lot
not.
of weird stuff going on with this whole thing.
Yeah,
We
you're
are-
telling me.
We were told to go find him, and we were told he was somewhere within the Sun-Kissed Mountains. That's what we know.
Well, you hit the sun-kissed mountains. These are them.
Yeah, that's what we noticed. I was also told to hand this over, and I take out the letter from the lizard folk tribe.
He snatches it from you, just snaps off the top of the scroll case to one side and pulls out the letter and just begins to read it. Yeah, feck.
They were concerned.
He rolls it up and just shoves it in an inside pocket and just goes, yeah, fine. You do get back to your post. You lot follow me. And he just walks off.
Follow him.
Gonna fucking
I follow him.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't like this guy. I don't like him.
It's okay, Elsyan.
Don't worry.
I mean,
What is that?
consider the situation. Your house got eaten by big orbs, and now you're stuck in the attic.
How do you feel? Yeah.
And the only other option is to go outside and get eaten by a big fuck off wolf.
As this happens, you watch as he just walks over to the blacksmith and he says,
I guess.
"Hey, Scholar, you hold on to this." He just goes, why? What's going on? Lizard folk want to send help. They got problems with the shadows as well. Oh, shall I start preparing weapons for them as well? Might as well. Need all the help we can get.
So if they're coming from underground, but also they're already outside,
They come through.
I mean, they can just go out the door.
They can.
Imagine when they walk, some of them walk up and some of them just look at the door and go, ooh.
Ooh.
Just make
It's
days, just make like a month-long trek across the frozen wasteland to get to the lizard people.
It's not a month for them. They don't suffer exhaustion. They can travel day and night.
Ah.
Probably like maybe.
And
a
also
day
they
and a half.
probably glide.
Yeah, they glide, so they leave no tracks. So they can get there within 2 days, at most.
You guys have fun with the
Wait,
dwarves, we're gonna
where?
go out here.
The shadows, just in general.
Ah.
You watch as he kind of leads you over to like this small, like old building. He just walks inside and says, and just turns around the doorway and goes, "All right, here's what it is. I'm the one in charge of this joint at the moment. So listen to me if you're gonna help, and if you want to do anything to throw your lives away, you're welcome to join us. Otherwise, I recommend you leave."
Sounds like
I'm just gonna say I'm a dwarf.
Yeah, I realise that, smart ass.
I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave other dwarves in a desperate situation where I might be able to help.
Good for you, noble types.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought a good
Nobles are
ever
good.
did them.
Well, hopefully it'll do you a bit of good. There we go. Now, tell me what needs doing before doing right now, and then we'll try and deal with whatever's down there later.
Look, it's not every day a
keep-
bunch of adventurers just walk in on us, alright? I'm trying to think what I can get you to do to be helpful. You want to just run
Just
around
kinda-
and do your own thing, just ignore everything else, let the people watch you. But you, pointy ears, you do anything suspicious and everybody here will tear you apart. Myself
Well,
included.
He's right there, Elsyan, be good.
It's been entertaining seeing this
Sasha-
dwarf slowly turn into Tim Roth.
And as he turns to you, Malcolm, and goes, "And you, pointy head,
Whoa! Listen here.
Elsyan.
I'm
the point.
You can insult me, but don't insult my money fountain.
Watch out where you tread. This entire place has seen
Just
enough.
in general.
This entire place has seen trouble. Don't need more of it.
Don't, look, I can vouch for them. I'm a cleric of a Tauran. I promise everything they'll
Do
be
you
good.
get off by being racist?
Do you want to ask that out loud, or?
Yes.
What's your
I
AC?
mean, yeah.
Like, I'm asking it in,
I mean-
in a curious, like, I'm genuinely interested way.
What's your AC,
I mean, he
Elsyan?
hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything to me yet.
Elsyan?
AC,
What's your
LC.
AC?
My AC? 15.
Okay. He turns around and he gives you a square punch right in the head. You watch as he kind of just leaps off of one of the chairs, swings around and punches you for 6 damage in the head.
Okay then.
Now,
Harlan,
that's
shut up.
Quite rude.
Psychic backlash, Chris?
Oh.
Okay. What is it? In
Okay then.
the
this is gonna
attack,
be
and if it
realistic.
hits, then
If you can, okay, right. As your action, you can impose disadvantage on an attack roll against you if you
Still
see the
hits.
attacker. Yeah. If the attack still hits you, the attacker takes 2d10 damage.
go ahead and roll your 2d10 damage.
People don't get away with punching Elsyan.
Oh God, no.
That's a worthy trade. 6 for 17. As he jumps up and he punches you in the head, you watch as his head just through you make a screeching sound. You watch as he lands, he grabs his head and just begins to shake it. You watch
Don't
his
hit
eye,
my elf.
his vision goes blurry, and he just takes a few steps back, puts his hand on the table, and just goes, "Freaking elves!"
I'm gonna I'm then going. I am then going to approach him with. I believe I do have somewhere. Yes, I have a healing potion. Be careful of your judgments; they'll get you killed. I'm gonna hand him over. I know Elsyan's a fine one to talk with this, but Elsyan likes
And
feeling
nothing
proper,
was
and it's gonna-
learned.
and I'm gonna place down a healing potion, the healing potion on the table,
Okay,
and just leave it.
make a
for-
persuasion check with disadvantage.
Oh no, mate! I have enough problems with persuasion. You don't need to give me disadvantage.
Oh, what a mood.
Let's actually do this.
Okay. You watch as he picks up the potion and puts it back in your hand and says, "Keep your poison. All you can get out."
Oh. Says the one.
Sorry.
Drunk
What was
Christ.
that? I didn't hear you over the sound of your people suffering.
Sasha, they obviously don't want help.
Oh,
Especially if they're gonna be that rude.
right. Well then.
It's not really a question of them, though. Whatever this shadow is, it's spreading out a lot further from here.
Are you leaving the building or are you staying near the doorway?
Sasha's going to listen here.
I can't help but feel that we just fucked up a quest here.
I don't
You know,
care.
call me crazy, but it feels like something interesting was about to happen.
Yeah.
So, no, we're not gonna leave. We're not gonna leave the entire place. We're just leaving this building.
Oh yeah, no, just this building.
No.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with his shit anymore. The pompous
good.
twat. There's
Give
only
us a
one-
give us a shout when you realize you need us.
when you're
we're
willing
going
to act
to
like
help.
an adult, not the child like your height is. And I walk out quickly before he tries to punch me again.
Just Elsyan says that, swivels on his heel, and then speed walks out the door.
Sasha's gonna say just because I'm gonna say telepathically just because he's a dick doesn't make it not racist.
It was funny. Leave me be.
Okay. You guys all leave, and you kind of look around. A few people are staring at you. They seem to see that there has been some form of confrontation. The guards seem very on edge, and they do have their weapons prepared should anything happen. The charm's still going, and those two are currently just standing over near the door, probably having a conversation about mushrooms or something. And just about the local
Right.
flora and fauna, and just how it's all growing and how they need to clean the door or something. And as you as you're all standing there, you hear what sounds to be an "oh, ah, oh, ah," and you all turn around and look as you see this giant bundle of clothes just rolling down a set of stairs on the far side and just hits the ground in a puddle.
Ooh.
That's
You see his two little arms are waving. He's like, "Someone help!"
I'm going over.
and help.
Yeah.
Go over and help. Yep.
Okay. You go over, you pick this individual up, and you see staring up at you a green-skinned, wide-mouthed, pointed-teeth goblin as it stares up at you, dressed up like it's extreme cold winter, wearing like 20 jackets, a hood and everything, like gloves and scarves, just arms just stuck out, tiny legs and in stumps.
Are you cold there?
I mean,
It is cold up top. You're the... Yeah, that's the shiny stick. Hey! Follow me, you lot. I believe you're called... Draw an intelligence check. Nope.
I won't say anything. That's how they catfish you.
The sun somethings, I think.
Something
who
like
cares?
that, sure.
Yeah, just follow me.
Uh,
And you watch as he begins to like lift his first leg up the step. Takes him about 15 seconds to successfully get himself on the first step, and just slowly begins ascending.
This guy's
I'll pick
adorable.
him up.
You pick him up. He's like, permit. No, this is actually helpful. Forward, Steve. He just slaps you on the head.
Yeah, I guess we're going up after him.
So, you begin heading up the stairs. Don't worry, we'll end soon. You begin heading up the stairs, and you see before you what looks to be a rickety wooden platform. As you ascend maybe about 20 steps. And he goes, "Alright, stand on top of that."
Okay.
Can I do an insight check on this kid?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Please.
Go ahead, insight checks.
As I'm walking onto it.
That comes to an 18, I believe.
Okay, he's doing his job, and
a
he doesn't
19.
intend to hurt you.
Okay, that's
Okay.
then, yeah.
At which point
Follow.
he kind of looks down at you and says, "I don't know your name, so I'm going to call you Crunk. Pull the lever, Crunk!" And he points at a lever to the side.
My God.
You were.
The wrong lever.
Which lever do you pull, Crunk?
I pulled the left one.
Chris, are you sitting too far away from your computer? Because you were reaching for that one.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I've been building up for this moment. It's the perfect time, and he looks.
Character, right?
No.
Your favorite character, right?
Yeah, Crunk is the best.
Little gnomish goblin.
Crunk is the best.
I'm the Kronk.
You are Crunk. That's why he said
Crunk.
pull the lever, Crunk.
My new title is Kronk. Let me
Kronk.
write that down.
Yep,
Behold the Crunk Slayer.
the Crunk. Yes. He.
The Behold.
You pull the
Congratulations.
lever, or the lever, whatever you want to say. At which point it just begins rising. He says, "Alright, this could take a while. It's a little bit slow." And for a good elevator ride of about 20 minutes, you slowly ascend the outside of this kind of square column going upwards.
Since it's going to take.
Is it only me or everyone?
It's everyone.
Okay.
Oh, Behold, congratulations. I think you've just gotten yourself your second name. The real question is, do you want to be Behold Crunk or Crunk Behold?
Behold Crunk, please.
Behold Crunk the Behir player.
I think.
Behold Crunk. Ah, what's your second name? Crunk. Okay, what's your first name?
Behold.
Ah,
Goliath.
it's
I
Behold
think there's
Mario.
one of them
Mario,
is
Mario.
So, as
Two is
you.
too many.
So, did you guys want to have a conversation while you're rising?
So where is this going?
Up.
No idea.
I'm asking him.
We're going to the top.
Well, I can
to the
understand
top.
why he was wearing all the winter gear now.
Mr. Dawn wanted to see you. He said he's
Ooh.
been expecting you.
Maverick!
You say
Dawn
that?
and his marshals.
Oh, is his name Maverick?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
he,
yeah.
he worked with my grandfather before him, my grandfather before him.
What happened to your grandfather?
Oh, they died.
Oh, that's not nice.
Well,
Does
you
the
know,
whole
we
have a
goblins
concept of
don't.
death?
We goblins don't live very long.
What's your name?
Hold on, let me get my thing up.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I should not have found that page of racial slurs, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've been replaying all that back in my head, and that just went horribly just because Elsyan's a bit of a racist to dwarves.
It's okay, he was
but
racist first.
My name's Hobble.
Hobble. Hobble.
Is that
Hobble
Hubble
goblin.
Hubble
Is he a
Green.
cousin of
Hobble
Hobble?
Green is.
So he is a green goblin.
He's a green goblin, yeah.
Excellent.
Not a hobgoblin.
Not
or
a hobgoblin.
I
Jack.
wonder if he knows a particular goblin doctor.
I know, right? That goblin doctor is amazing.
Oh, love nothing.
It's weird to me that every goblin is basically just a tiny Moses lack. Hey, Homer.
So, you with a shiny stick.
Lost.
Yes.
Oh, you lost me.
You're Steve.
Would you like us to just tell you our name?
No,
Steve, Bertie,
that's a
Elliot,
good. That's a good one. You can
Malcolm.
be Bertie.
Gerard,
I'll
and
be with
The tall
Quentin?
The tall one can be Jared.
I believe I'm Jared. I'm the one who begins with G.
Looks towards
No,
Elsyan.
you were
I
Melvin.
see
Bernard.
Jared.
But no,
Looks
Bernard is
towards-
Behold.
Looks
No.
towards Elsyan.
I'm Kronk.
Yeah,
Looks
Behold
towards
is Kronk.
Hello, Jared.
Trunk.
Kronk. Fine.
Well, I'm not being Jared.
You are
Jared
Jared.
I'll be, but Jared I will not.
Ah, yes, the future. Wait, yeah, the future.
Subway mascot. Yeah.
The dwarf who used to live here, Quentin Prick. Queglod Prill, I think I find.
Okay, so what did you recommend for the other name? It was Bernard and whatever. What else?
I believe I had a Melvin, a Gerard, an Elliot.
Gerard, that was you. Okay. Oh no, Gerard.
Jared.
Gerard was Sasha.
Jared.
Oh,
Sasha?
okay. I was wanting Worcester.
Worcester. We'll get Worcester.
I think he
no,
probably,
no, it was Bernard. Something else. What was it?
I think he probably named him after like.
30?
It was a Bertie. That was supposed to be you because that's Behold.
It
but you're
was
Kronk.
Kronk, Steve, Bernard.
It was Kronk, Steve, Bertie, then Bernard.
Okay, I didn't hear the
I would
Bertie.
be Stevie.
Yeah, because you said that he was Birdie.
You can be pointing at you, Elgin. You can be Irvin.
Irvin!
Oh, now they're based on the first letter of their name.
You can be pointing at you, Sasha. I'm not very good with dwarf names. You
No beard.
could
Bob.
Bob. You're Bob. and
Bob, do something.
another goblin-ishy person, short and
Big Goblin.
short. You can be
My Valentine.
My new dad.
Quiggles.
Queggles.
Hot stuff.
That's good names. So we got Kronk, Steve, Bernard, Irvin, Bob, and Queggles. Yeah.
I'm not going to remember which one I was.
And you've also got a giant spider with you, which I completely forgot. Again.
and you know.
And that
And we
small
got
guy.
and we
Drake.
I'll call you
Yeah,
Skills.
we got we can call you Webby. And we're gonna call you Shiny.
I saw that one coming.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
I'll introduce you to the boss. He'll wanna speak to you a little bit more about all of this sun stuff.
Are we still in the mountain?
Yeah, you're still
Yeah,
escalating
We're
on
going
this thing.
up the mountain.
Cool.
It's a slow journey.
Can I see the top? Does it go out the mountain?
Yeah. It goes to the top of the mountain. You can hear like the whirling and the howling of the wind up above as you kind of begin to reach the top of the mountain again. But as you reach up, you can see sunlight. And as you kind of get to the final section, it speeds up a little bit, and you kind of get to the top. And you look around, and you can see several goblins in similar wear, like full-on Eskimo, thick coats, very short, stubby arms as they're moving around carrying stuff, pushing carts with one arm, just hobbling along as best they can. And you can see the top of the storm just below, off of the edge of this mountainside. It's a fairly rough surface that you're currently going with. There's a few general plants and hardy bushes and stuff. You can see an archway leading inside of a area, and you can see up above a large observatory-like structure. Several panels of glass currently pointing in, and as the sun hits it, you can see the refracting of it in very different directions. And Hobble jumps down off of your back, Bhold, and goes, "Follow me!" And you watch as his head just drops into his body like a turtle, and he just does a little bit of a run, tucks his arms and legs in, just rolls across
I'm going
the
to
surface.
imitate what he does.
Okay,
Bhold, no, you'll
make
die.
an athletics check.
If anyone can do it, it's Bhold.
Behold, tucking in your head and running, you manage to get one roll off, and then you're just like...
That's plus 9, by the way.
Plus 9. Oh,
Yes.
boy. Okay, you run, you get a good roll off, you get a few tumbles in, you stop, you go again, and you're managing to keep up. There are other goblins who are around, and they just, like, drop what they're doing, they, like, waddle over and just join in. With this, like, rolling motion. The rest of you are all seeing this. This is stupid.
I like to think that Behold's making
It's
noises like
Behold now.
stone grinding against stone.
Can we be getting on with this, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. We follow, no atom.
Yeah.
Follow.
We follow regularly on
As
2
you-
feet.
We be sensible.
As you follow along, eventually you go through into the cave entrance, and you can see various dangling bits of shards of metal that are just blowing in the wind up here. The air's surprisingly thick for this high up. It's strange, but it's at least easy to breathe. And as you, even if it is cold, and as you kind of reach the entrance of this, you hear a turn, 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 turn of metal being hit over and over again. Something similar to that of a forge work. And you all
Sasha's excited.
See?
this.
Oh.
What
up? Hello, Maverick.
You do indeed. You see before you a completely white ambiro with these dark orange tattoos over various portions of his body, with what looks to be a general blue apron on, and holding 3 hammers and holding a blade in front of him, hitting it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, consecutively knocking it down to what he needs. You can see next to him what looks to be this open forge, but inside you can see this bright light emanating from it, and you watch as he pulls down a forge mask, picks up the metal and just puts it into the forge, and you watch as it just begins to heat up, and you can see it shining on the inside. Sasha, you believe this to be the solar forge.
Oh ho
that you were
ho
talking
ho
about.
ho. Oh ho ho.
And as he pulls it out, I would like you to make me a blacksmith's check.
Let me check my supplies. That's a +7.
Okay.
Okay.
+7. He's working with mithril,
Oh.
as he's busy hammering away at this blade of some kind. And you watch as Hobble kind of goes up and goes, "Boss, I found them. It was down with the dwarves. They didn't seem to get on very well, but that's fine, because they're up here now. And you watch as he turns around and he looks up, and in all of your heads you hear, "Oh, welcome, welcome. It's good to finally meet you. The name's Maverick Dawn." And you watch as he spins the hammers and puts them into 3 separate pockets, just stands up and walks slowly towards you. "Ah, so you're the ones that Miadal has told me about. Excellent, excellent. So, you must be Malcom." And as he says that, you hear a voice from behind you go, "Actually, his name is Steve." And,
Wait, I thought I was Steve.
No, I'm.
no. Bhold is Crunk, Malcolm Steve, Ghaakt is Bernard, Elsyan is Irvin, Sasha's Bob, Queglod is Queggles, Arachne is Webby, and Aurum is Shiny.
Think of them as nicknames.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking there's going to be a running joke is that no one remembers the names that were given to them by this guy. At some point,
dare
Ghakt's going to
my
think
name
that
is
he
Bob.
was Webby.
No, if we ever need code names, these are code names.
Oh, no.
Quiggle. Adrian Quiggles on the case.
He is perfect.
And
It's me, Bob.
well, it's good to know that you're all here. So with you being Malcolm, and you're receiving your next one, you must be Queglod. Echoes.
Okay, at this point, Felipe is gonna fly over and sort of land on the goblin's head and just sort of start absent pecking at the top of his
You
head.
can be Blackie. And just pulls it off and looks at this large raven about the size of his head.
Okay, at that comment, the raven is just gonna start walking violently.
Even the Raven will not. I don't want none of that.
What is
Just begins
half a
flapping
peckle.
and struggling.
what is Featherwing?
Yep. Stay. Make a strength check for Felipe. Oh no. Come on, Felipe. You can do it.
Go up.
Drag him.
Yes.
Oh no. What's that?
-2.
Total is
7.
7? You
for
win.
Felipe. Yeah, he has -4 strength.
You win. You got a 7 -1 is 6. As Felipe just struggles and flies away back onto your shoulder, he just goes, "Oh, it's Queggles." And just like looks around and goes over and just starts patting Arachne on the leg.
Does anybody object to Featherwing having fun?
Yes.
Nope,
We
but
do need
fun.
to hurry before people have to leave. But
Yeah.
Like I'm just very concerned
That's fine.
because Sam, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maverick kind of looks at you and says, "Well, we've got a lot to talk about, and it'll be good to speak to you soon. Now, I suggest. Yes, now. Yes, Goblin number 15. Could you go and grab us a cup of tea, please? Make that 10. Does your spider and Drake drink tea, or?
No.
Alright then. Nothing for them. Just make it 6. It'll be fine. Make one a shot glass for the halfling.
Is he talking to Hollow?
He's talking to one of the other goblins. He seems to recognize them by number rather than name. Which is simpler for him, seeing as he's seen like
slave race.
he's seen like many of their generations. He can't afford to remember.
Yeah, this
all of
one is
them.
number 15.
Number 15, yeah.
Don't name him, you'll get attached.
No. What if it's like a generational thing? Like
Every single one of these
replace-
is number 15.
No. It's like each of their families is like, yes, this family is number 15. You are goblin number 15. When you die, your child will take your place, and that will then be goblin 15.
I do not want to see a child until that point.
Maybe. That would really suck if one of them didn't have a kid, and it's just like there's 1, 2, 4, 5.
You had problems.
Yeah.
Infertile.
But yes, it'll be good to talk to you. Yes, please, take a seat. And he kind of gestures behind, and you watch as these 6 chairs apparate around a table.
How tall is he?
He's about 11 foot.
Oh.
So he's big, and he kind of goes over and he sits down in an armchair, makes himself at home. The wind's still howling, and it's still relatively cold, but it's not too bad in here. You're from the shelter. So you're all the Dawn Marshals. Yes, I recognize 2 of you. Got Queglod and Malcom. Each of you receiving your own ones already, by the looks of it. If I remember correctly from what Miadel said, we got Bhold, Sasha, Elsyan, and Ghaakt.
Oh, you remembered me.
She remembers all. She's told me not too long ago that she would be away for a bit, seeing as it's getting to winter, and well, I can remember your names. That's easy enough to do. I remember the old ones' names as well. Those ones were a difficult lot.
Yeah.
So you know Gorg?
Gorg? Yes, of course. I know Okwa, Gorg, Rendi, and Halda. Those 2 were a pair. Harmony, Trodren, Durak, Trisha, Myrene, Bogmi, and Sindrin. All of them were fairly good. We had, funnily enough, we ended up having 3 Azamars in the group. It's fairly interesting. A few humans, one halfling, same as you. We had a dwarf, same as you.
Hello.
He was also a cleric of a Turan. Interestingly enough.
Which one was he?
Oh, that would be Durak Rustbeard.
A Rustbeard.
He wielded Forgestorm, the Warhammer.
Oh, well, I might be following that footstep as well if we can find it.
Yes. But yeah, we also had the Goliath, Bogmi. Probably would have liked you there, Bhold. Yeah, the Rendi and Halda probably wouldn't have gone on so well with you, Elsyan. They're not a particular fan of elves, but they're gone now. And then, as you said, you're a fan in Gork. Which means that you're probably interested in Titanbreaker, no?
Yes.
I see. Well, that's very interesting. But something that you need to know, not all of their weapons are the divine artifacts. Something which they always forget in the history books.
Oh.
This is the problem with mortal races. They get the facts wrong, and then they stay in history because some dipshit doesn't know how history works.
Yes, it's a terrible loss to us all when that happens.
Yes.
History being written wrong is terrible.
Yes, you got Lighthouse, you got Titanbreaker, you got Forstorm, you got the Tome of the Third Mind, you've got Nightmaker, you got the Solar Crests, Lapis Crescendo. That was a fun name. I liked that one.
Can you send me that list, please, when you finish with it, by the way?
You got the Comet Strikers. Those ones, the ones you might be interested in, Bhold. They're a fun one. You got the Heart of Beasts, and then you've got the Scourge's Witness. Malcom, roll me a history check.
I roll a history.
Question: I already did I also did in some research on them a while back. Can I?
What's the total?
13. Give me one sec. History. That's 17.
I'll send you this information in a moment.
Okay.
So yes, that's all of them. I suppose you're wondering where they all are. By the fact that you're here anyway.
Yeah.
That would be nice
yes.
to know. And I'd like some more information on Lighthouse here.
Well, Lighthouse, as is usual with these things, I can't actually tell you what Lighthouse does. With the divine artifacts, they change according to who wields them. So I can't actually tell you what Lighthouse does. I can tell you what Lighthouse did. Lighthouse was very good for healing, for spell casting. Not so much anymore. Looks like it's more based on the elements. I can't exactly say what it'll do. I could try to appraise it, but that would take several months. And I don't think you have that time from what Miedal said. And
Maybe not.
Nightmaker doesn't seem to have changed
I'll be
too
right back.
much. Nightmaker seems to be a little bit more based on ravens still, which I do like to see. But you're probably wondering where each of them are, yes?
Yeah.
Now, I only get... Unfortunately, my magic 8-ball isn't that great, so it only gives me very vivid knowings of where they are. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So don't go complaining to me when you can't understand a riddle that neither I can understand either. So,
Of course.
Lighthouse. You already know what that is, but... There's no point. You've already got that one. Titanbreaker. A trophy at the hands of the Greatest Tempest.
Can you repeat that?
A trophy at the hands of the Greatest Tempest.
Can you put all these in the...
I will copy and paste them all in once I've got them.
Okay.
You got
Dragon?
solar crests, floating among the stars, carried by the largest creature of its generation. You've got the Lapis Crescendo. At the heart of the earth, within the land of crystal webs, lies this gemstone. You've got the Comet
no.
Strikers, swallowed by shadow in a nest of death.
Oh, well, I think we
You've got the Forged Storm, sealed within the fire of the forge, of the greatest forge.
of the forge.
Oh well, I have. There are precisely 2 possibilities of where that is, and I know exactly, and I know where one of them is.
You've got the Tome of the Third Mind, forgotten within the shattered mind of those greater than most. You've got the Heart of Beasts, worn by a mistress of the wild within a land of fire. And you've got the Scourge's Witness, sunken below the Island of Dreams.
Question: which one was the shield?
That isn't one of the divine artifacts.
That isn't one of the divine artifacts. Ooh.
That is the
Interesting.
list. Make of it what you will. Retrieved is in brackets afterwards. But yes, something just to keep in mind for all of these. That's what you know, Malcolm.
This is what I know.
Wait. Is that sealed within the fire and
Whoa,
the greatest
hold
forge, or
up.
sealed within the fire of the greatest forge?
Wait, which one was that?
Sealed within the fire of the greatest forge. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
I've got a pretty good idea where Comet Strikers are. Seems
Heart of
pretty laid out before us.
Huh? Interesting. That one seems. That one seems a little difficult.
Maverick. Sir Dawn. I don't know how you prefer.
Call me what you want. It works either way. They call me different names all the time. This one calls me.
Marvy.
This one calls me Dawn. That one calls me Maverick. Some of them call me
Alright.
Dad.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Great
Maverick,
father figure.
You're a smith yourself. What would
That's
that?
true.
Well, what
Yes.
would you consider the greatest forge?
Probably the one belonging to a Turan.
Yes.
Motalin's one is nice. Don't get me wrong. Looks around at the Solar Forge. But it's
Yeah,
got some
yeah.
limitations. One, I can't actually restock it, so it's kind of boring and it's always bright. I don't need to sleep that much, but it sucks when you have to put a blanket over it.
Yes, that can be quite an issue.
No. Greatest forge that I know of, from what I know, is that of a Turan. It was lost centuries ago, underneath lava, from what I know. But nothing more.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
I know that it the divine forge of a Turan. It lies within the heart of the Empire.
Well, you know more than me
Okay.
by the looks of it.
There it is.
That term, heart of the Empire? Have you ever heard that before?
Stare. Sorry,
It's probably in the
Then-
middle of somewhere. I can't say for sure where it might be. Heart of the Empire is very vague. I mean, one of them is... I mean, what was it? The Lapis Crescendo at the heart of the earth? If you want to go there, you gotta get some serious fire-resistant potions.
that doesn't
That's
sound.
that's only if it's literal, though.
Well, obviously,
Anyway,
we'll see how things.
Anyway,
Warm
I'll leave you
fire.
guys on to think about that. Enjoy your tea. I'm going to do some blacksmithing, then I'll return, and we will call it there.
One last question.
For the road.
Are you the only one allowed to use the forge? It's really cool.
I mean, if you can reach it, sure. I mean, I can get you a stool. Yeah,
I'll use a stool.
If you want to use your chair, you're welcome to do so. I would say be careful. It is very hot, and don't try to melt anything without my permission. There are certain things, if you put them in there, they can explode.
Right. Dragon scales.
Eh. They're okay.
Specifically red dragon scales.
It should be fine. They're okay versus the heat. Yeah, their dragon scales should be fine. If they're metallic, I would say no, because they fire out like shrapnel.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, look at goblin number 13 over there, and you see a goblin with no leg, with only one leg, one arm, and he's kind of like waddling along on a crutch. You see the top left half of his head's just got shards of metal sticking out of it.
Oh no, the poor baby.
Yeah, he decided to put a knife in the forge. That was a bad idea.
I can imagine. Oh Jesus. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yes, I
What have
tell
you done?
them-
The knife has become 5 knives.
Exactly.
5 smaller knives.
With far more sharp. Anyway, I'll leave you to your discussing for a minute. I need to go and finish this before it melts or solidifies. You know how smithing works.
Yeah.
And I'll leave you to your tea. Hope you enjoy. Back in the moment. And for you folks at home too. He turns to the camera and he says to everybody, and for you and to your folks at home too, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Thorn Seekers. We'll be back next week, most likely. Otherwise, we'll be here on Thursday doing regular Thursday D&D. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And this has been Chris.
Who is he talking to?
I don't know.
Can you not see all the goblins out there? They're all
Goblins?
Yes.
We've been like watched by goblins.
Alright, goblins, it's time for me to tell you a story.
A story about a dwarf and an elf. Bye bye.
This is the story called the Green Goblin Saga of Spider-Man number 62.